qualification, world ranking points, and building momentum towards that all-important European Championships. These are the conditions that we are working with. Famous monuments here. What an iconic venue this is. And they are coming in their masses at the moment, and the crowd are ready. They've been warmed up. If we look at the timetable, the discus is underway down on the far side, and it's a Danish 1-2-3 as it stands at the moment. But those two junior 1,000-meter races, it says men and women, but they were junior races, and the crowd absolutely loved them. So they are ready to go here in Copenhagen, the Østerbro Stadium, which is newly renovated. This is a brand new track surface. It hosted the Nordic Championships last month, and since then, it's been preparing for the Copenhagen Athletics Games here. For another stop on that world tour, as I said. I'm your commentator, Matt Seddon, and we've had a quick brief for the timetable, and this is the crowd. It's a 1,500-seater stadium. The track side, and there is, well, there's a couple spare seats left, but there is a queue out on the street, 40 or 50 meters long, and they're still coming in. And this is how it stands in the women's discus so far. Pedersen leads from Nielsen, from Jensen. That is a big lifetime best for her. It's a junior record, junior Danish record for her in third as well. And so the Danes will be very, very pleased. Eriksson and Brown there in 5th and 6th. So let's take a look at the action so far in this women's discus competition. This was first round from Pedersen, sorted that one out. And national record holder back in 2023 now. And this was the youngster Jensen, just 20 years of age. This was the throw, and as you could tell by her response, did not expect that one bit. And interesting enough, from the Viking Athletic Club on the eastern part of Denmark, actually a small island off the coast of Denmark, so very, very remote. But coaches and support team doing a fine job. And she's now in a very, very strong position already in this competition. Can she improve on that mark? Conditions looking good so far. Now let's turn our attention. First bit of track action then is going to be the women's 100-meter hurdle heats. And we'll go from the outside in. As you look at Lovisa Karlsson there of Sweden running the outside, certainly going to be a bit of a threat. 13.08, her lifetime best. Now that European standard stands at 12.88. And this lady is one of few in the field today who has it. Anna Toth, surely heavy, heavy favorite, the Hungarian, 2 times medalist at junior level. Ida Bomb then. Well, huge support from her, wearing the home colors of Sparta. Mum, one of the meet directors as well. There was talk, if the wind wasn't favorable, they would turn it around and run in reverse, but they've got a small tailwind, a bit of crosswind to deal with. Anderson, the Norwegian, 12.89 her lifetime best. Just outside 13 on the season's best so far. Well, here's the German Floto. Whisker inside 13. In good form, though. Backing it up. And Mundsbach goes in 2 on the inside. So then all eyes on Anna Toth of Hungary, which was 4th just last week. Behind Brandon Jones, who was due to compete here. Late withdrawal from her, the American. So what can the Hungarian do? Just a heat, remember. First 3 to qualify and 2 fastest losers. Heat 1. So let's have a look who's first to rise. Then we're underway. Anna Toth clattering that first barrier in the bright yellow. She's going to be under pressure for a bomb. This is a fine run. She's got to keep it clean to the end of the line here. She's going to take heat 1. And the Dane wins it convincingly in the end. I'm sure a small part of her wishes it was the final, because I'm not sure Toth's going to make that same mistake come 8 o'clock tonight. But Ida Bomb will take it. Ran a lifetime best on this track. Semi-finalist of the World Indoor Championships. And a very, very strong long jumper as well. You often see that, don't you, long jumpers and hurdlers. 2 events that partner so well. But had to stay calm. Credit to her. Had to stay calm in that moment when you know the athlete alongside you. 12.91. So there's the tailwind that they're working with, plus 1.6. To be honest, the wind isn't quite making up its mind. It's blustery here down on the stadium, but just look at Toth, just really threw herself off, did well to relax and compose herself. Shows the caliber. When you have a clean run like Bomb, it is always going to be hard to come back to an athlete like Bomb, who didn't clip a hurdle at all through that round. See the tension in the upper body, doing all she can to hang on, and just a whisker, what, 1/10 of a second off her lifetime best. So we hope there is more to come in the final. These heats acting as a little bit of a warm-up for those athletes. So as mentioned, we could have 5 from 1 heat go through with the first 3 and 2 fastest losers. Live results for you guys at home watching on roster at the moment. So far it is Lovisa Karlsson who is in 5th with 13:38, equal season's best. We turn to Pedersen in the discus, going into the 3rd round. Walking the Dane, who leads. Can she extend it? Well, that's better, right on the 60-meter mark. She'll enjoy that one. Lifetime best is 62.22, but a season's best of 60.34. And that auto mark for the European Championship, 61 flat, edging closer. That's going to be encouraging. I think it's just shy. I think this is going to be 59 high, just shy of that 60-meter mark. But Pedersen's looking good. Like I say, we want, or ideally these discus throwers want, say, a sort of headwind just to catch that discus, almost push it up a little bit. Carry it out a little bit further up that field. Beautiful setting. It is a beautiful evening. We have got a slight breeze, but conditions-wise, temperature, especially for some of those distance races a little later on, absolutely perfect. Copenhagen not suffering from the same heat wave a lot of Europe are having to cope with at the moment, or about to cope with over the next few days. So then from one field event to another, the women's triple jump is about to get underway, and they're lining up over on the far side. And they will actually be jumping into a headwind, so perhaps the only athletes who conditions aren't in their favor today. Well, here's the lineup for you, ladies and gentlemen. Emilia Sostrand's there, 12.82 season's best, so a little way off her best. She's ranked currently 24th on the road to Birmingham, so if she stays there, we'll see her in Birmingham in 6 weeks' time. Well, Jan Nielsen, 2nd at the Nordic Championships right here, your 13 times national champion in both the long jump and the triple jump. Certainly heavy favorite today. Gunnarsdottir, lifetime best 13.72, that's a national record. The Icelandic International. Well, Suka was 2nd last year at the World University Games. She's a teaching student. Did end up going to the World Championships, starting her season strongly as well. Jessie of Belgium. Right around her lifetime best already. It's set to go in the next few weeks, she said. And the Lithuanian, Viksate, 14.08. That was indoors a couple years ago now. It was a very, very accomplished performance against strongers like this to get in that road to. There's Ilona Schaas. There's Ilona Schaas, last athlete to be named. 14.20 is that European qualification mark. 20 have it already. 30 can go to the championships in total. So effectively, there are 10 spots up for grabs, and 6 athletes are very, very close to that 36th spot in this one. So they're all going to do battle. It's going to be a bit of dog-eat-dog out there for these women triple jumpers to make sure they get the points. And if you're wondering how these world rankings are calculated, it's the average of your best 5 events across a 12-month window, and that was from the 25th of July 2025 to the 26th of July 2026. So they've got about 4 weeks left of that window as well. So this is a prime opportunity for them to go and get that qualification mark. Well, Sostrand then we'll get things underway. It's another athlete who does a lot of long jump as well. It's mentioned about how a lot of the hurdlers cross over into the long jump. These explosive events complement each other very, very well. Former San Jose State athlete out in America at the NCAA. Okay, solid from her. We'll get a reading early on, taking off on that 11-meter board. Very difficult, opposed to the long jump where you look to really, as soon as you hit the board, you look to get that vertical height pretty much instantly, fully extend. The triple jump, you have got to take that speed into that next step. Well, and that's great to see coaches virtually track side there. So failure for Sostran confirmed. And there is clearly something not quite right at the moment. Lifetime best of 14.09 to be almost 1.5 meters off that for Sostran. I mean, that obviously must be a little frustrating. That tension starts to build through the season when it's not clicking. Or Jan Nielsen represents Aarhus here in Denmark. 14.13, her best. She'd love anything around that 14-meter mark here. Well, it's another foul early on. And actually, they are the luxury of this newly renovated stadium is they can jump either way, and they are jumping with a tailwind. So perhaps that's one of the reasons we've got a few fouls early on. That tailwind just pushing them down the runway. Small adjustments they'll make over the course of this competition. Well, as we turn our attention back to the top end of the runway, pretty much parallel to the sandpit these women are jumping into, it's the 100-meter hurdles, heat 2 up next. Oh, and there's a quick look at the lineup. Well, we'll go from the outside in. That is Julia Wernerstern of Sweden. 13.12, so we know 13.38 is that final fastest loser spot, or time qualification spot, I should say. So that's what a lot of these athletes will have in their mind. They're all capable of it. There's only 2 spots up for grabs alongside those 3 autos. Well, there's Martine Hornvik. Very, very accomplished hurdler, the Norwegian. Look out for her, the national champion last year. Gold medalist in the European Youth a few years back. Haldbo, another athlete who's sub 13 seconds. Gets a great reception there, does Annika Haldbo. And then on the inside, Diana Suman, and then Bock there. Aaliyah Bock, 12.85 her lifetime best in Norwegian. Just inside that European standard of 12.88. And Veselowska, the pole. Again, another athlete just outside 13 seconds. So the frustration for Bock is she has run that 12.71, wind aided 2.1. That was at the Oslo Diamond League. And so how frustrating for her to be just outside that Euro standard. She'd love to claim it here. Can she do it in the heat? So Wernerstern, von Gerber, Hornvik, Haldbo, Suman, Bock. Veselowska goes in 2. So they're pretty much an all-Scandinavian affair in this one. Look out for Bock in lane 3 there. She's very, very accomplished. She looks to be just in second place at the moment on the outside of her. Hornvik is going to take this one. Comes across the line. So the 2 Norwegians go 1-2. And we'll get a look on the results. Keep an eye on the clock. Causing a bit of an upset. They're going to be tough to beat, aren't they? Surprise, Bock was just a little sluggish in the blocks there. Hornvik was second in that Oslo meet with 12 high-class international meets like this one here tonight on the World Continental stage. So results just coming in. Hornvik is a victor, 12.93, and you could see, unfortunately, it's often the luck of the dice. I mean, they've had to cope with a headwind, these women, that previous heat having a plus 1.3. Let's have a look at the replay. So Hornvik just gets the better start, and from there, gets the gap in the first two flights, and that was it. Hornvik commands the rest of the race. Good lean on the line. Houdbo will go through that last auto queue spot. And fastest loser will be the pole, actually. Veselowska, 13.35. So one from each heat. That seems fair, doesn't it? Schumann, Wernerson and von Gerberding will miss out. Estonian and two Swedes. Top four in that one will all qualify, according to my computer. Well, back to Lundberg then, who enters the circle. Emma Lundberg, 6th ranked Swede, would you believe it? But very, very close to that European standard. That's going to be about 54. 8th at the Nordic Championships. Just struggling to get going here in Copenhagen is Lundberg. And yeah, the Swedes just have so much depth in the throws, the hammer, the discus. It's all credit to the coaching and the setups they have over there in these technical events. Look at Daniel Stahl getting back to his best. That will excite a few. Women's hammer coming a little bit later on in the evening. We're going to see Jakobsen, the leading Dane and one of the leading Europeans. Can't wait to see her challenge for a medal in Birmingham. I'm sure many of this crowd can't either. So could this woman. Pedersen then leads 59.87. 3 Danes up at the top. Nielsen 58.67, and that big lifetime best for Anjul Jensen in 3rd, 57.95, and that is a Danish under-20 record. Well, here's Curly Brown of Germany to get amongst it. She certainly can. She's capable. Discus just hanging up there, almost flipping on its head. 4th at the World Junior Championships. Has got a season best of 59.06. There's Curly Brown, still just 23 years of age. Frustration there. Facial expression says it all, hey? She won't mind fouling that one. .55.24, so got a lot of work to do going into that final round. Ignore the graphics, SPP. I think it was just because we didn't have a mark for her coming into this, but certainly has thrown 59.06 already this year. Well, Sparta, a very, very impressive club, home to over 2,000 members. It's one of the largest clubs in Europe. And you can see just in the background there, that is the stadium of FC Copenhagen. Eriksson in the circle, saws that one out. So another Swede is in the road to Birmingham rankings at the moment. She sits in 24th. Certainly needs to have a few good performances under her belt, because it's going to be easy to get bumped out of the top 30 at any point over the next 4 weeks. People are going to be throwing the kitchen sink and some at it, and you've got to take the competitions when they come as well. It's getting harder and harder to find a meet for many of the top athletes, and that is due to world ranking points forcing them to compete more. That's what World Athletics want to see. And I know many are skeptical about how it works and how it will develop over the next few years. So then this lady is having a wonderful competition so far, Jensen, from the Viking Athletic Club. Very remote island off the coast of Denmark. Has already thrown a lifetime best. Not going to be a lifetime best on that occasion. Hits the cage on the way out, but it's all smiles so far. And that is her 6th and final throw. Just catching that one, and to be fair to her, she threw that PB. Did have a pretty early release on it. Hugged the right side. Well, here goes Nielsen, still just 25 years of age. 20th at the moment on the road to Birmingham in a commanding position. Your Nordic champion saws that one out. Can she catch it? Oh, it's better. Might challenge to 58. Let's see, but not a bad way to finish up her discus competition today. If you're home as well, just wondering, here you can see just, it's going to be very, very close, isn't it? Actually, 58 and change for Nielsen, you would expect in the 6th round. Yeah, those of you wondering how much the discus weighs, 1 kilo. Saw that out. So that 1 kilo flat implement, 60 odd meters. Yeah, 58.61, so not quite the improvement on her 5th round from Nielsen. Warden has the competition won. Does Lisa Pedersen, the national record holder, 6 times Danish champion. A familiar face in these parts. What can she do? Can she clip over 60 meters? It would be amazing if she can. The crowd will certainly erupt, but you can see the wind just holding it up out there. And so a little bit of a shame. Small frustration. She would have loved to be a bit more consistent over 60. It was certainly a season's best there on the cards for Pedersen, but she'll take it. And unfortunately for these women as well, discus is an event that is not going to be at the World Ultimate Championships. That is the only sort of global championships. It's a new one that will be held this year. Mid-September, right before the World Road Running Championships, which, guess where that is? In Copenhagen. Somewhat 60,000 people are going to compete alongside or behind the elites over 1 mile 5K half marathon. It is going to be, and I'm sure many of the people watching will have a ticket and entry for that. Over 70,000 entering the Copenhagen Marathon ballot as well. And the reason I say that is because the organizers of these mass road races are Sparta, and it is a big, big fundraiser for them, and that is how they have such high-level coaching, and they produce athletes from an array of events and disciplines time and time again. There's rarely a club like it in and around Europe. So then there is full confirmation of your women's discus. Lisa Pedersen, Annie-Sophie Nielsen, and Anne Jensen. A 1, 2, 3 for Denmark. Doesn't get much better than that. And yeah, Sparta, a club that continues to grow, but they do share this facility with Copenhagen Athletic Club. So there are 2 clubs who get to use this fantastic venue, and the Copenhagen Athletic Club, a little bit more traditional. It has a rich heritage, just like Sparta. But I think it's, you know, it's not one event that Sparta are good at. It's just an absolute multitude of events producing champions and Danish record holders across all disciplines, and that is rare to see that from one club. They really take their youth development very, very seriously. They were the DNA champions just a couple years back at a junior level. Just dynamic new athletics for those of you who aren't absolute track and field nerds. Right, over to the triple jump. Icelandic international Gunnarsdottir. 4th here, just a month ago at the Nordic Championships. Seen a few fouls early on in this triple jump. Could well be another one. Just seeing as that board kicked up. Well, hard to read too much from her expressions there. We'll wait for confirmation. Here's Sucha next to go in this women's triple. Yeah, Gunnarsdottir, 2 fouls. Confirmation of that so far, right. What a host announcer. Training up the crowd is what we love to see. They are so engaged. And this is why, you know, many will say track and field athletics, it really, in this format, belongs in Europe, doesn't it? This is where it's celebrated the most. And so Suka waiting, Linda Suka of the Czech Republic waiting for that crowd to just calm down and perhaps carry her through her run up into the pit. Beautiful sunset for these lot in the crowd. Well, this is the silver medalist from the World University Games. Waits patiently. Some athletes like to run with a bit of peace and quiet, but Suka's going to have to put up with this crowd. Good on the board. There we are. Carries it through. That may well challenge at the moment. Nielsen leads. Yeah, Nielsen of Denmark. 13.56 in the second round, so we haven't got the scoreboards alongside the pit, so difficult to judge. We roughly know it's an 11-meter takeoff board. You know how deep they get into the sand pit gives us some indication. Suka 13.20, so 13.27 in the first, 13.20 in the second, stays in third place. But to give you an indication of just how this wind is swirling, you've got Linda Suka, who's jumped with a 0.0 wind reading. You've got Baranska of Ukraine, who jumped with a 1.8 following wind. And then you've got Jan Nielsen, who leads, the Dane, with 13.56, who jumped with a 2.7 following wind, which of course is an illegal wind, but you can win the competition. But obviously it won't count towards qualification marks and records and stuff like that. So you could argue not all is fair for some in the jumps events. Okay, next race on the track. It's over to the fast men, the 100-meter dash. Well, it's Torgrimsson right on the inside then. On the outside, I should say, sorry. Randazzo as well. Well, Philip Randazzo, for me, semi-finalist of the World Indoors, is going to be a threat. Fast starter, Jensen of Sparta. There in sixth, the youngster, still just 19 years of age, keeping great company. Well, Emil Rasmus then, the South African, certainly the one to watch. 10.05 just last week, getting to his best of 10.01, which was set at altitude. So actually, you could argue he's at his best. Benjamin Gum, Odense Athletic Club, 10.49. Lifetime best for him. When there's Anderson, also of Sparta. Casper Anderson, 10.51, and Kundrup right on the inside. So three Danes in 2, 3, and 4. Erasmus, you can see there in the blue and green strip. So one to watch alongside Randazzo of Italy. He's got a few Diamond League wins under his belt in the long jump. When he's sprinting his best, he's jumping his best, is Randazzo. And I think that's why we're seeing him here at the 100 meters at the Copenhagen Games. So we expect the threat to be in 5 and 7. The Danish athletes will do well to keep this company. Ooh, false start. We'll have a replay of this, hopefully, just to get a better look. Qualification will be exactly the same as the hurdles just before. It'll be top 3 and 2 fastest losers. And when we talk about world ranking points, it's never bad, is it, to have heats, to get 2 races out in one day? Because if you... Oh, tough to call that. Well, Randazzo definitely had the slower start. He was sluggish out the blocks. Jensen looking a little cagey, a little nervy. As the cameraman spotted something we haven't. I mean, it's at the British Championships yesterday. You had an athlete in the set position stumble out of their block, Sam Baranning, and it was not even a DQ, it was just a green card. So sometimes the rules can be interpreted slightly different. It can be quite confusing. For most of us at home, whenever they're in that set position, any movement from that set position between then and the gun is often deemed as a false start, but there's a manner of things which can get in the way and cause problems now. The electronics, obviously this, we've got a noisy crowd right on top of them as well. That could have affected things, caused a few to be a little jumpy. Sodin, Torgrimsen, Randazzo, Jensen, Erasmus, Gum, Anderson, Kundrup. From outside in, your men's 100 meters, heat 1. So look out for the South African in 5. He's a good starter, so's Randazzo, phenomenal 60 runner. Head-on pitches at the moment, make it difficult to see who's going to take this. Not anymore. Erasmus comfortably across the line, really proving a point. He's going to be tough to beat in the final. His nearest competitor, the Italian, long jumper by trade, schooled him really, didn't he? And he's just in form. He's really starting to click at the right time, and he's got the Commonwealth Games to look forward to this year. There's Emil Erasmus. That'll be his aim, to get on that team with the South Africans, who have had great success in relays, actually, in that 4x4 last year at the World Champs. So 10:22, no tailwind. Perhaps knows what he's up against now for the final. So again, Randazzo for me just a little slow out of blocks. You might expect that from a long jumper. Doesn't have all the time in the world to work on his start, unlike Emil Erasmus. Till Gum's going to be close to his lifetime best as well, closing hard. Same as Jensen, 10-5 runners by trade. Let's take a look. Well, crowd just acknowledging her over on the far side. They're up on the top bend, these triple jumpers. The steeplechase is going to be used a little bit later on. Julian Witt, huge Danish talent, over 7.5 laps and 35 jumps. Will go in that one. But for now, we'll focus on Jan Nielsen, our host athlete. A club founded right around the same time as Sparta, actually. Both of them date back to very, very early 1900s. Some of the oldest clubs in Europe as well. So she's ready. Big, powerful stride on the way down. Looks good. Oh, I was gonna say looks good on the board on that one, but not to be. Didn't have it. Forces they put through their body. So it's very interesting in the jumps, actually. Both the long jump and the triple jump, and both concerning men and women. Some of the all-time leading marks date back decades and decades and decades. And you take the top 10 all-time, and in many of, I think in the long jump and the triple jump, 8 of them predate the year 2000. So just wonder if training methods have slightly changed a little bit. Yeah, do have to think outside the box. But yeah, we don't see the huge marks that we used to back in the 80s and 90s when it comes to long jump and triple jump. And I'm sure there are specialists out there and experts who have a good assessment on it and reasoning why. So here goes Gunnarsdottir. National record over to 13.72. Needs points if she's going to go to the European Championship, so this is a crucial meeting for her. With that level of frustration, one could insinuate that that was a goodness Dottier. Now that is tough. You've got to be careful. The last thing you want to do is come all this way and not get a mark recorded. Well, heat 2 of the men's 100 just down there, preparing. Here's the lineup for you. Kobe Hilton certainly wants to watch. Matthew Matoli will be inspired by what Erasmus has just done there in his heat. So have we got a few? We just got the one no-show. It could be. That's Parola, I believe. Christofferson there. And Andreas Christofferson. What an opportunity for him to go alongside these men. Kobe Hilton of the USA, semi-finalist of the World Indoors back in 2025. Over 60 meters was a great team for him to make. Now there's Matthew Matoli. Now he's wearing the colors of the Copenhagen Athletics Club, which share this track, believe it or not. 10:39, the South African, his lifetime best. And there is Anderson then on the inside. Jensen ahead of him, another 10:30 man. These guys are going to have to get very close to that, at least under 10:5, if they're going to make this final. Tell you what, when they get into their blocks, there were some huge cries for Jensen and Anderson, the two Danes in 3 and 2. So Parola is a no-show. Christofferson, Hilton, Matoli, Zerignon, Jensen and Anderson. So Hilton starts well, so does Christofferson, a youngster right on the outside as well. Anderson and Jensen doing battle, coming through on the middle. This is Matoli. This is going to be an upset from the South African who resides here in Copenhagen, and that is a fine victory in Heat 1. There we go, have some of that. Have some winning magic. Matthew Matoli, just 18 years of age. 10:54, his lifetime best. What's this going to read at? Special run from him. Put the pressure on an athlete like Kobe Hilton, who, to be fair to him, has already run 10:3 this year. Considerably faster than Matoli's lifetime best. And 10:11. So at 10:42, pretty much still conditions here. A good run, and I think those five, with 6 in it, they could all qualify. Matoli just bouncing his way down that straight. Very, very relaxed, spearheading that field. Crowd loved it. And that final's going to be just after 8 o'clock tonight. Final event of the day is going to be the women's 1,500 meters. 2 minutes to 9. We've got the men's mile, women's 3,000 meters steeplechase, 200, 400, and these finals to come. So there we go. So 10:79 for Christofferson and Jensen. They will both to that final. Congratulations to them. So we've got Matoli, Hilton, Zerignon, Christofferson and Jensen. And that's your men's 100-meter heats concluded. To give you a bit of context of how the world rankings points work, it's based on a performance score and a result score. So obviously how fast you run and effectively what position you get. And then you also get a few bonus points on the level of meeting. Now this is a bronze label meeting. And of course, so if you were to do a silver meeting or a gold meeting, you would get more bonus points because effectively the only difference between the labels and then up to Diamond League and World Championships and Olympic Games is that you have a deeper field with more athletes inside the top 20 in the world, for example. And it is so impressive to see what they've put on here at the Østerbro Stadium, right in the heart of Copenhagen. It shadows the FC Copenhagen football stadium as well. Some 30,000 in there every single weekend, playing the Champions League. Uksate of Lithuania, 2 fouls so far. It's difficult for these women at the moment. There is, I mean, it suggests there was a headwind on her second attempt. It's swirling around down there. So to get any sort of rhythm, to keep adjusting that run-up, is becoming more and more difficult. And we've got some, like Gunnarsdottir, who have had 3 failures already in this competition. Well then, Lithuanian on the runway, away she goes. Coming in, what she got needs to, yeah, I was gonna say, just not carrying any speed into that. And I don't know if this is if there's an element of frustration with the conditions. They are from that top end, it is slightly exposed. But it was, yeah, not even sure what to make of that, or even what to say. How can we break that down? But just didn't look to get out of first gear. You need such, I mean, I mentioned there, we watching those 100 heats, Randazzo of Italy, 8'12" long jumper. But when he's jumping his best, he is also sprinting his best, low 10-second 100-meter man as well. This is how it stands. Jan Nielsen, Salia Giesi, Linda Suka. And you've got a few athletes there, 3 of them, no mark. I mean, that is a real shame. Bravinska of Ukraine looks good on the board. This one's going to count, we hope. Currently sits at 13:33. What's this going to come in at? Bravinska. Failure. Well, there we go. Difficult to call from this head-on angle that we've got at the moment. Qualifying for that European Championships. That's what this World Tour is so often about, is building towards the major. And this year, if you are a European, the major is the Euros. Some fortunate enough to also have the Commonwealth Games to aim for. A few South Africans that we've seen already. Emil Rasmus will certainly be in that 4x1 quartet, I imagine, for South Africa. Well, here's the second Ukrainian then. No mark so far. Alona Shas. That'll do, that's better, it's going to count. Old school, going out with the tape measure. Haven't seen that in a while, have we? It's all electronic these days. Old school is very, very reliable. You can see some empowerment that she needs to generate there. Like I said, the takeoff angle versus the long jump, very, very different. Takeoff slightly shallower angle just to conserve that horizontal momentum, maintain that speed into those next 2 phases. 13:20 on that 3rd attempt, good enough for 5th. The leapfrog Sostrand, who has only got a mark of 11:27 at the moment, will go next. Now, an athlete that just, you know, simply soared to, seemed to have huge potential, has struggled this year. And Sostrand, you can see there, just yellow spikes, blue jacket on. And we hope over the course of this competition, she can refine that form which saw her soar out to a 14:09 lifetime best. So a lot of these buildings around the stadium, you can see this one right in shot here, straight ahead, and then to the left as well. There's lots of indoor facilities in there, athletic facilities. That's where the athletes will warm up on the top end as well in that building. They're all Sparta-owned. And they've had the infield renovated as well, better drainage, better grass. Looks absolutely luscious, doesn't it? Well, in conclusion of the men's 100-meter heats, Erasmus, Matoli, and Darzo, and this is how the final will look as well. Kobe Hilton, Jensen, Brooks Gunn, Dunion, and Jensen right there, 7:81, season's best. Soden Erasmus, heavy favourite. Look, he's way ahead, isn't he, the rest of the field? But all to play for come just after 8 o'clock tonight. What could happen? We've got to go recover first. Well, Gunnarsdottir not having a great day so far. 3 failures. Can she correct it? Here's the question we ask. Yes, she can. To mark on the board at least for the Icelandic international, who is their national record holder, 13.72 just last year. Awesome competitor, and again another one who's just seeking to attend as many majors as possible. Finally working out her run up there. So we're into the 4th round in this women's triple jump. Next track event, by the way, men's 400 meters. It's due off at 7:05 local time, so we've got 7 minutes. And it's something they do very well here in Europe, is they space the meeting out enough that we can follow the story of the field events of the triple jump, whether it be the triple, the hammer, the discus, all to come. 12:87 for Gunnarsdottir there. And the crowd really appreciate being able to see it all in front of them. And connect, they are so close to the action here. 1,500-seater stadium. It's pretty much a sellout here on the home straight, directly below where we are in the commentary box. Well, Gesate, can she follow in the footsteps of Gunnarsdottir and get a mark on the board here in the 4th round? Another athlete way over 14 meters. And you'll remember in the 3rd, just didn't seem to get any sort of speed in that run-up to even attempt takeoff. Coach is allowed down, right down on the infield now. That is pretty rare, but good to see new innovation in our sport. Very hands-on, many of them iPads out filming, and give that feedback to their athletes. So Gesate, they are ready to jump whenever suits them. Here we go. Ko moves to one side, nice following wind for her. What can this Lithuanian do? Best back in 2023, indoors as well. Not one to cope with adverse conditions too much. What's that flag gonna be? Red flag. The frustration in now is just building. This is what the event can do to you, and then you begin to lose all hope, don't you? This looks like a very frustrated Gesate of Lithuania. Hey, more on that to come. Men's 400 though. Godeo Isaacs, here's the South African we got eyes on at the moment. He'll go in 7. Won his first national title in 2019. And he is a man and a member of that South African quartet in the 4x4 at Tokyo. Came home with that bronze medal and finished neck and neck with the United States of America, didn't he? And it was just a thousandth of a second between them. So unfortunate. But I'm sure they were still very delighted with bronze, the South Africans. Some team as well, when they got Pile and Van Niekerk in it. 5th at the Olympic Games in 2024 over the 4x4 as well. So Isaacs is the man to watch. In 7 on the outside of him, the Dane, Von der Haar, Sparta. Full preview of that men's 400 off in about 3 minutes' time. We'll just check in with Sostrand, the Swede, another athlete who is way below her best today. I'm sure she won't mind anyone saying that. She'll demand more of herself. And is this the moment in the 5th round then? Just not looking like she's got that pop on that second step. It's going to be a green flag. Or white flag. Varies, depending on what track and field meeting you're at. That's it. They're just looking a little bit perplexed there. So then we'll turn our heads down to that 400-meter start line. And here we are. Now, there's a name there. Nilo Falk of Denmark in 3. And you may be wondering what relevance this has, but that is Wilson Kipketer's son, who has obviously had a huge impact on Danish athletics over the years. And he's chopped his PB down from 49 to 46 in just 1 year. Very excited to see what he can do, opting to run the 400 versus the 800 like his father, former world record holder, still the Danish world record holder. I think that will take some beating, won't it? That Danish 800-meter record, 1:41, Kipketer. So then these men stretched round that bend, and the wind is dropping. They'll be pleased to know the wind is dropping. And often in the 400, they prefer a slight tailwind. If they're going to have any preference on a windy day, a tailwind on the backstretch, make that first 200 a little smoother, and then have a small headwind when they're already tying up on the home stretch. So then, ladies and gentlemen, your men's 400 meters here at the World Athletics Continental Tour in Copenhagen. Jo van der Hey right on the outside. The youngster, just 20 years of age, 48.11 his lifetime best. Today's an opportunity to go quicker. Gadeo Isaacs then in 7. I mentioned him. He is certainly the fastest in the field. 45.02. 47.6 just last week, though, so not in the best shape. Nielsen. Can he cause an upset? Can he challenge? 27 years of age. And beat this man. He was 3rd in Lithuania last week, was Nielsen, beating Dos Santos, who finished up in 4th. He's a Portuguese national record holder with 45.4. Willington Wright, UCLA graduate, 25 years of age. And then on the inside, or in lane 3, shall I say, Nilo Falk gets a huge reception here. Trains on this track. Here, the Copenhagen Athletics Club share this track with Sparta, so he'll know every inch of hopefully lane 3, which is the one he's in as well. And Harry Bradley, the Welshman then, the young Welshman, just 19 years of age, 46.95. His lifetime best, and coincidentally his season's best, goes in 2.
On your marks.
So from outside in, Van der Hey of Sparta, Isaacs of South Africa, Nielsen, also of Sparta in 6, Dos Santos, the Portuguese record holder in 5, Wright of America in 4, Falk of Denmark in 3, and Bradley of Wales in 2.
Set. On start, restart.
Well, don't often see that. And one can only presume a slight technical malfunction, actually. The fact the starter knew so early on that instructed them to restart, get up out of their blocks, relax, pretty much instantly as soon as they went into that set position. So lane 8, it really, if they were on the far side, they were to put their hand down, lane 8, it would be able to touch them. They are on top of them, and the track is slightly sunk in to the stadium here at Oosterbro. And so the crowd are elevated. It's unique, but brilliant. So all eyes on 7 for me. He's going to get out hard. Gadeo Isaacs, he always does. He was a South African national champion back in 2019, and you think of the 400 men that they've had. Look how smooth He is down the back straight, eyes on him, ease is clear. His nearest rival's got to be Dos Santos, the Portuguese national record holder in the red. He's in 5 on the inside, Willington right as well. Powerful figure, black vest, blue shorts, coming through in 4. The 25-year-old from America is over here, going to cause a big upset if he pulls away here. 46-2 just last week, enters the home straight in the lead. So it's right of America, followed by Isaacs. And getting wheeled on, of course, is Nielsen of Denmark, and he's going to storm through and take it over the last 10. 46-31, and he was stronger than them all. Wow. Gustav Nielsen. What a run from him, their national record holder, 45-4, and he's perhaps the man most used to performing on a blustery, cool temperature night. Better than any of them. Well, he's got a good head-to-head against some of those guys already. Against the likes of Dos Santos, beat him just last week. You're going to be confident you can do it again, especially on home turf in front of your home crowd. And I can't believe how much Wright faded in that last 50, 60 meters to come off the bend like he did in first place. And Nielsen just to attack him and come back. 46-30, so not particularly impressive. If we refer to the clock, the run, however, certainly was. And there we are, greeted by none other than his partner. Put on a show for her. Let's see how the rest of them fared once we get these results in. For those of you at home, live results on roster. Follow Copenhagen Athletics Games. Now, let's have a good replay of this because, you know, the way that, for me, Tadeo Isaac started, he was just made it look so easy. Pulled so far clear of the rest of the field. He's tying up, Wright's tying up. But just look at Nielsen. It's messy, but it's effective. And it comes a point where you've just got to get to from A to B as quick as possible. Nielsen does that better than anyone. Falk coming through hard. It could... Well, he's going to be just outside his lifetime best of 46-37. But another performance inside 47 for Emilio Falk. 46-98 for the Dane. So the two Danes either side of Tadeo Isaacs, who was, for me, odds-on favourite, no doubt about it, 46-56. So quite a sluggish performance from him here today. He'll need to be in better shape than that if he's to feature in that Commonwealth Games quartet in a little under a month, a little over a month, over in Glasgow. Pele and Van Niekerk and others. What a terrific team they have. And we'll be introduced to them very, very shortly. We really 15th on European rankings so far, 72-62, her lifetime best back in 2024. But so many women in this field. The European standard 71.50, that's the auto cue. So many of them have that already. And we have Sarah Fantini, the defending European champion. She won in Rome on home soil. What a special occasion. There she is, composed. And we don't often get to see these athletes. It's not an event that features in the Diamond League. Thank God it does on the World Tour. One of the best field events there is on offer. These women launching a 4-kilo metal ball at the end of that wire. Somewhat 75, 80 odd meters into the distance. Very impressive. Well, and there's Jakobsen, the Dane now. They will be looking to her for a medal come those European Championships, just 26 years of age, which in hammer terms is relatively young. Tend to peak a little bit later on. Such a technical event, you just can't rush it. 10,000 hours and some for these women. And that's if you don't get injured. So here she is, Katrine Jakobsen of Denmark, 75.52. That's the national record. She was 8th at the World Championships last year. She's done pretty much nothing but win this year. 4th in those European rankings. Building a season to hopefully podium at the European Championships. Whoa, where's that coming at? It's big. Early on, it looks 68, 67 meters to start. Not too bad. Rebecca Haller to Sweden, 67-42 leads. And a Danes result will come in shortly. Look at the speed they need to generate, the amount of rotations that they fit in to moving through that circle, which is a little under 2 meters in diameter. Very, very impressive. The core strength required because of the leverage in the hammer is absolutely incredible. Just to hold yourself stable, not let that thing pull your arms off, quite frankly. You've also got to be brave enough to swing something which is 4 kilos around your head. 66-39, so in second place. You won't like that, especially down to a Swede, Haller, who leads. Very credible athlete herself. Oh, just slipping out the circle there. Jan Shippe of America. Seventh the US champs last year, has a massive lifetime best of 74.93. The depth in American throwing is huge. A little bit like it almost feels like when it comes to the throws, especially the hammer and the discus, it's, you know, javelin, we see a lot more nations involved, but it does feel like it's North America versus Europe in these throwing events like the discus and the hammer that happen inside the cage. Well, here she is, in Sarah Fantini, daughter of the famed shot putter, the European champion in the hammer, the Italian national record holder, 75-77, 12th on 2 occasions at the Olympic Games. When you're the European champion, you want more, naturally. Throws in reverse to many of the others we've seen already, swings that one out. Oh, it's massive early on. First attempt, and that will take the pressure off. Fantini way above 70. That one suggests it's going to be around about 72 meters for Fantini. That puts the pressure on the hometown favorite, Katrine Jakobsen. 20 centimeters separates their lifetime bests on paper. But right now, it's about 8 meters in the standings. You could smile, Fantini. Next track event is going to be that men's mile. Whoa, we've got a mouth-watering field to look forward to in that one. We really do. Isaac Kameli is in town. Silver medalist at the World Championships last week. So here's the German, Eileen Kuhn. Sits in 9th place on the European rankings at the moment. Good position. And, wow, looks like that's going to be very close to 65. So again, a little bit off the running early on. The European under-23 champion last year. Talk of age, 23 years of age. Very impressive to see her. We saw Curly Brown, a teammate, go in a discus earlier on. So those two coming over together and throwing pretty much one after each other. Fouls out even, so it won't even count. Just couldn't quite hold it together. Talk about the leverage, the core strength to hold those rotations. So this is the story pretty much all the way around the stadium. You can see crowd right up on the railings, just a meter or so above the track. And those are the men who are going to contest that mile shortly. Well, just exiting in circle is Lothman. Alberg is to go next, and then Hallgrimsdottir, Icelandic international, representing Sparta. Good relations there. So a few Swedes. Great to have the European champion in town, Fantini. This is a direct head-to-head, really. This one build. There's a head-to-head between Fantini and Jakobsen of Denmark. And it could be a dress rehearsal ahead of that European Championship in Birmingham. 6 weeks' time, ladies and gentlemen. $30 to go to the championships. Well, that's going to challenge 70. That will put her in a good spot. We'll just get a closer replay. White flag goes up as well. Not bad early on from Alberg of Sweden. One of the more experienced in this field. That being said, still is a very, very young field for a hammer final. So Kuhn and Shippey, no marks for them. Everyone else has pretty much got a mark on the board. Your leader at the moment, Sarah Fantini of Italy, your European champion as well. Halleth and Alberg, the two Swedes, go 2-3, 67-42 and 66-61. Confirmation of that on your screen there. So down below me on the home straight, these men warming up for the mile as we welcome the Icelandic international representing Sparta, though. Hallgrímsdóttir. And that's what a club like Sparta will do. It pulls in and attracts so many athletes from all over Europe, and that is massive. Absolutely massive early on from Hallgrímsdóttir, and this could well be an upset here today. Well, she threw 73.88 over in Kenya in April, and that was right at the start of the Continental World Tour season, and has struggled to get near that. She was second at the Nordic Championships here a month ago. Boy, oh boy, making that one count. That's a statement early on from Hallgrímsdóttir. In a circle that she'll love. Trains in time and time again, and in fact they have a beautiful park right where the half marathon and the marathon starts, the Philip Harkinen, and many of the throwers will train in there. They have numerous throw circles, so they won't often train here on a Tuesday and a Thursday evening on club night. They'll head over to the park. 72.98. Well, now that is going to ask questions of the European champion. That is huge. Oh, this is going to be good fun, isn't it? Your women's hammer, round one complete. More of that to come. You are watching the Copenhagen Athletics Games. This is almost the 10th year, 9 years. I think we had an off year for COVID actually, so 8 years in total where it's been on the World Tour circuit, but it really is being reimagined thanks to the investment of Sparta. Really want to put in a show. There's how it stands so far in the women's hammer. Hallgrímsdóttir leads 72.98. Your European champion is second, 71 meters in 92. And thanks to the success of the Copenhagen Half Marathon, Copenhagen Marathon, the fact they're hosting the World Road Running Championships, the King's Run as well, which has well over 100,000 participants in the summer. Sparta organise all of those events, and the success of those events have allowed them to put a lot more funding into this World Tour, and hence why we have stars like we do in this men's mile. Because for those of you at home, they don't just come out of goodwill. Isaac Kimeli, then, he's a late addition, 3:59.35 his lifetime best. Pay no attention to some of these PBs on screen. It's not a common distance run for these men, especially the Europeans. They'll run a lot over the metric distance of 3 3/4 laps, 1,500 meters, and Kimeli will run a lot of 5,000. Wasn't quite at his best the other day in the Diamond League in Oslo, just 13:13. Got spat out the back door, quite frankly. And perhaps one way of solving that, he realizes he needs a little more speed, because he has had a pretty good winter over the half marathon, but struggling to rekindle and find that form of last year, which saw him claim that silver medal over the 5,000 in Tokyo. A mind-boggling run. Europeans dominating the podium in the 5,000 and the 10,000, on the men's side, at least. So it's a huge field. We've got 15 or so men in this one. They're going to have to be careful on this first turn. We know it can often be a little argy-bargy. Ben Claridge, experienced pacemaker, regular on the Diamond League circuit, will pace. Give you a bit of context, as 3:41 lifetime best over 1,500. Wearing bib number 5 there, it's Axel Van Christensen. 2 times European cross-country under-20 gold medalist in 2021, 2023. Guess who he beat in 2023? Niels Laros. Well, how about that? So some confusion over who starts where. Like these men haven't done it before. And that's Valentino Soccer of Uruguay. He's their national record holder in just about every distance going. 3:35, 1,500-meter man. Made the 5,000-meter final over 12.5 laps in Tokyo back in September at the World Championships. So they're just repositioning a few of these men to make sure they're all happy. Bib number 14, yeah, actually, yeah, that doesn't add up to my screen either. I've got Valentin Soccer as wearing bib number 14. He actually wears 13. So there's Axel van Christensen. He did start out his junior career as a steeplechaser. Seems to have drifted away from that, focusing more on the 5,000 and cross country. Is interesting. Rick van Riel. .356 mile lifetime best at 24 years of age. 3:35 best over 1,500, former European under-20 medalist. Now there is a split, ladies and gentlemen. There is a 1,500 split tonight. There's Valentino Soccer, Kimeli as well. We move our way through the field until we find Axel van Christensen. There he is. The Dane, still just 22 years of age. And yet to have a recorded mark over the mile, so a new experience for him and some of the Spartan youngsters there, just 18, 17 and 18 years of age on the inside. Boy, they're gonna enjoy this one, aren't they? Wave lights at 3:53, your men's mile. Oh, what is it? The sound system's echoing around here, actually. The mic just squeaking away. I think just falling a few of these men into starting a little early. You can see there was a few squeals, a few shakes on the inside. Once one goes, they're all going to go, aren't they? So often you see that. So no one disqualified, we hope. So the Irishman right on the inside, that's Colin P. Smith. It's a good international debut for him over here. Some of the Spartan youngsters rallying this crowd. Rightly so as well. I mean, the way they responded to that 1,000 meters early on was fantastic. So the first distance event of the night, your men's mile. So a clean start, second time of asking. Claridge right there on the outside in the white vest is going to be your pacer. He'll drift to the inside over the course of this first bend. And who's going to get after this then? Valentin Soccer then, NCAA medalist, or just outside the medals, finds himself right inside Claridge, who almost makes it look like he's running slow motion with that long, rangy stride. He's so smooth, the pacer out front. So Soccer there sits in second, and now Kimeli finds himself into third. These men have come here just for a real good hard dust-up in the time trial, I think, to sharpen up, ready for some big 5Ks to come. We know the Diamond Leagues that loom for the quality of these men, both world finalists, one of them a world medalist over 5,000. And Diamond League winner last year in Lausanne, Isaac Kimeli of Belgium. He sits there in the white wearing bib number 11 in third place. Valentin Soccer, NCAA graduate, in second place wears bib number 13. Rick van Riel, the Dutchman, 14, back in fifth. Claridge through in 58 on the line there. He's on the blue lights. Those green lights are going to be paced right around 3:53. And you can see if there is a breeze, it's just around this bend. You can see them having to work a little harder around this bottom bend. So these men look smooth early on, not much change, as you would expect. Sam Ellis is the tall, rangy figure in the black all-in-one suit. The American, 3:53 is his lifetime best. And he's had a bit of a European tour at the moment. He was over in Stockholm, the Washington University student, graduate of there now. So no change in the top five. Can Claridge get them to a kilometre? That's probably what they're going to ask. Few of the Spartan youngsters just coming off the back now. They're doing well to keep hold of this pace. So Smith of Ireland a little bit further back, so no change in the train. We've come accustomed to seeing this on the circuit, haven't we? Single file, athletes right on the lights. 1:57 with 2 to run. Certainly possible to get 3:53, if not even quicker. They're going to need to close, though. So Soccer still leads. Is he going to be challenged? If so, when from Kimeli? You would have thought with his 5,000 meter strength, 12.56 man, over 12.5 laps is Kimeli. And despite his global medal, he's not that much quicker on paper than Soccer over 12.5 laps, who is just letting that gap open up to Claridge. His job is done. He pulls off to one side, and now I think the Uruguayan knows that I'm out front. I've got to just measure my effort now. I've got to be able to respond when the likes of Kimeli, Ellis, Rick Van Riel even, these guys try and come up onto my inside. Rob Marakel of Slovenia as well as the last man onto that chase group. Axel Van Christensen swinging wide. Can he feature? Can he bridge the gap? He's a low 340 man over 1500s. Could be a big lifetime best for him. We'll get the 1500 split. 56 at the bell, ladies and gentlemen. Well, they're on for a quick one. They're all on for a lifetime best. Some of these men, for one reason or another, haven't even run the mile yet in their career, despite the success on the world stage. So Soccer leads from Kimeli, from Ellis, the tall American in third, Rick Van Riel, and then the Slovenian Rock Markel there, who's just moving himself up into fourth and now possibly third. Soccer's race looks done for me. He looks spent. He's going to do well to rally. He has the experience on the NCAA circuit. He does that, jumps back out on the shoulder of Isaac Kimeli, who doesn't have the wheels round this top end. They've got a slight tailwind. He's going to be hunted down by the Slovenian. So Valentina Soccer, who led for so long, is going to outwit Isaac Kimeli. And can he hold off the fast finishing Slovenia Rock Markel at this stage? Oh, it's going to be very, very close, ladies and gentlemen. Soccer's just going to hold on. Has the strength, has the pedigree. 3:55 for him. Well, he'll be frustrated that he probably gave his position up on the back stretch, because they made it hard for him. Having to then pull round on that top end is always going to be difficult, but he did it. It doesn't matter how you do it, as long as you do it. Valentina Soccer, 7:34, his lifetime best over 3,000. And his lifetime best over the mile coming in, 4:01.98, so he's improved on that. Quite drastically. It does get to the point, the speed these men move at. They almost close their last mile in a 5K at that sort of rhythm these days, but Valentina Soccer, nice rust buster for him. Axel Van Christensen thanking his friends and family who have come out to watch him. The athlete, one of the few Danish stars who's actually not from, or doesn't represent either Sparta or Aarhus. There's Rick Van Riel, just struggled a little over that last lap, didn't he, Van Riel? So because of a late change in their numbers, I think it did mean that I was calling the athlete in second, slightly wrong there, who wears bib number 12. That's Garrett McQuitty of America, who's a 3:37 man. That would make a lot of sense. And he was the man who really challenged Soccer, who, yeah, did all the right things, decided he was going to have to get on it, followed Claridge early on. And so we're not quite sure what's wrong with Isaac Kimeli. Not that there has to be, but yeah, clearly not quite at or in the shape that saw him win that medal, that silver medal at the World Championships in Tokyo. So look at that, still a strong run from him. He's trending in the right direction. And these guys, Garrett McQuitty there, is the man challenging. Rick Van Riel getting fourth, the Dutchman. He's so gutsy as Soccer. Made an NCAA career out of that, and now he's making a pro career out of it as well. Yeah, ignore that graphic, unfortunately they did. Whatever happened last minute when these men went into the call room, their numbers got switched and turned upside down. So, yeah, it's certainly not Heikkinen of Finland. Yeah, it is Valentina Soccer of Uruguay. 24 years of age and a bright future ahead of them. 1,500 meter split, actually 3:40 for those of you wondering. So don't forget that women's hammer competition still ongoing. Groundswoman will be happy, making some beautiful divots in the grass. Turn our attention, I mean, it's a head-to-head battle, isn't it? Fantini and Jakobsen, but Hallgrimsdottir is spoiling the party. Leads with 73-12 at the moment, so an improvement once again in the second round for her. So in confirmation, so it was Stocker who was the victor. 3:55.52. And then could have been Heikkinen, Kamelli, Rick Van Riel, Colin P. Smith coming through, 3:57. But yeah, those results are not sure how much we can trust them with some of those numbers changing really last minute, which is always unfortunate for us commentators, makes it very, very difficult to call. So Fantini, 72-64 in the second round, closing in on Hallgrimsdottir, who so far has responded with everything Fantini's thrown her way. The Icelandic international representing Sparta has responded time and time again. So did this women's hammer. They could push each other to some fantastic marks. 4 of the top 10 in Europe here in Copenhagen. Oh, is that one, is it legal? Can't quite see that white line on that far side. Don't even think that throw is going to be legal, unfortunately, for Fantini in the third. You can see having to adjust that cage. Left-hand throw. Next it goes to German Eileen Kuhn. European under-23 gold medalist last year. Threw on Saturday, so it shows you just how regularly these hammer throwers compete. They do often load competitions back to back. You have a really busy 14 days or so, then back off, get into another training block, and then go again. It's an event which requires so much rhythm that you do need to compete quite regularly, or very regularly, I should say. So, Eileen Kuhn, not liking that, will restart if she can get it back under control. She can. Go to the back of the circle. Get 3 or 4 rotations in. Builds up momentum. It is a fascinating event. Saws that one out then, looks pretty central. Going to be a touch over 60. Just didn't have the height, so struggling it when she threw 70 on the weekend. That's a huge confidence boost coming into this. 1 over in Finland. And like so many of these events, it's consistency. If you can get near your best time and time again, you're going to win an awful lot. An awful lot. There you have it. So halfway through this women's hammer competition, pretty much. Few more to go. We've got Arborg of Sweden still to throw, Loftman as well, and Hallgrimsdottir, who leads with 73-12. Surely she's not going to extend on that again. Getting closer and closer to her bettering her own national record. Oh, well, okay, Armand straight into the cage. Loftman, see how this one panned out. It's releasing a little late, bang. And that's why you have a cage, ladies and gentlemen. Now a teammate, Arborg. 66-61 in the first. No mark in the second. Wants an improvement here. It's certainly going to move her up the pecking order. So then we'll wait and see what that one comes in at. 200 meters is up next. Now we've got an A and a B final here. So we'll say Heat 1, Heat 2, but it is actually an A and a B final. They will not be qualifying for anything. So we just got to, and this is your lineup. This is, that is the, well, my start list, it was the A final, which was to go second, and we've got Binslev on the outside. So yes, Binslev, this is the B final. The Victoria Binslev of Denmark, 24-26, her lifetime best. Inside of her will be Amundsen, Eriksson, Gossens, Raven, Vestergaard, and Kristoffersen. It's the wonderful organising committee. Some of those youth athletes here from Sparta as well. Many of them had a little run out earlier on, just as we were coming on air, over the 1,000. Some great matchups. Yeah, full confirmation. This is your 200-meter B final. Victoria Binslev there, 24-26, and lifetime best, representing Sparta right on the outside. Full of smiles, and rightly so. She'll get a huge cheer as she enters that home straight. Marianne Amundsen goes in 7, and Eriksson here, 23.59. Perhaps might have wanted to contest that A final, but would have to make do in the B final. Gossens to go in 5, 23.54. And Raven, again, 23.89. Huge reception for her. Great to hear. And Vestergaard, another Danish star. Their national championships coming up very, very soon. And guess where they'll be? Right here, like so many competitions in Denmark. Kristoffersen, 24.34. So tighter lane draw for her, but she won't mind too much. At least she'll have others to aim at out front. So here we go, your women's 200-meter B final. Binslev, Amundsen, Eriksson, Gossens, the Belgian, only non-Scandinavian in this. Raven, Vestergaard, and Kristoffersen. Well, ties on 4 there. That's Alma Raven of Sparta. Gets out pretty well, already up into her running as well as Eriksson and Gossens. It's going to be tight as they enter the straight at this stage. But it's Gossens of Belgium who looks very good. Oh, and pulling up there is it Eriksson. Not ideal for her, but they're going to carry on to the end. And who's going to win out here? The Belgian versus Amundsen on the outside in the white. And Amundsen's going to take it on the line, 23.71. And it pays. You see the endurance required. You know, sometimes a lot of us just relate to the 200 as an all-out sprint, but you can so often tell people tying up, fading, like it's a 400 in that final 50. Make no mistake, these athletes need to work on their endurance. They do those long, grueling sessions. I say long, grueling sessions. There'll be such as maybe 5 by 150 meters, that sort of thing, 8 by 150 at tempo rhythm, where they do need to build up some form of anaerobic endurance just to hold it together the best over that final 30, 40 meters. To Marianne Amundsen, your winner on that occasion. I thought for a long time it was going to be the Belgian in 5, Justine Gossens. But Amundsen, nice tailwind, 23.78. Setting the scene then for this A final to come, ladies and gentlemen. Many of these women in this race, they'll be looking to challenge and make a domestic final in their respective nations over the next couple of years, over the next couple of weeks at the national championships. Over the next couple of years, they hope to develop into making the podium at the national championships. Well, as I mentioned, it was a good start, and you know, I wonder if Eriksson just pulling up, put Gossens off a little bit. Right as they enter the state, Eriksson, you can see just screaming, shouting, something happening. Duct is gone. And Amundsen just grits her teeth, holds on. Oof. God, that's close. Binslev on the outside. Sparta there in the blue, but Amundsen was able to hold her nerve the longest. And she'll take that one. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are about, 70 minutes from the conclusion of the Copenhagen Athletics Games. What have we got still to come? We've got the women's steeplechase. The women's 200-meter A final will be next, obviously. Women's steeple to follow. Men's javelin's going to get going shortly as well. Then we've got those 2 hurdle finals. Women's 100 will go before the men's 110 in that 100-meter final at 8:45 local time. And the women's 1,500 meters will cap off the evening here. High hopes for Anne-Marie Nissen in that one. And that will take place 2 minutes before 9 local time. And just look, beautiful, beautiful sunshine. Glorious. The crowd are absolutely loving it. Parked up, what a way to spend a Monday night watching track and field in the fantastic Oosterbro Stadium here. And quite simply a beautiful part of the Danish capital as well. That big stadium behind, that's home to FC Copenhagen. Now, unfortunately for the Danes, they are not able to celebrate partaking in the World Cup. And Scotland made sure they didn't qualify. But there you are then. Conclusion of that women's B final. Edmundsen, Gossens, Raven, Christoffersen, Vestergaard, Binslev and Eriksson. DNF, that's unfortunate. Hope she is okay. Well, back to this women's hammer. There's the Swede, Rebecca Halleth. Look, lifetime best of 72.62. That was a few years ago, back in 2024. Has struggled this year, quite frankly. I mean, a lot of her throws have been around about that 66 mark, and it's telling the story again today, isn't it? 67 in round 1, 66 in 3. So has struggled to really push on beyond that mid-60 range this year for one reason or another. Yeah, a lot of athletes' performance in all events, all disciplines, does just rely on how strong, how good that winter preparation is. Is there any interruptions? Can they build momentum through the winter, spring, and into the summer? So then Rebecca Halleth. Sure, she'd love to scalp a few of these women here. The European champion is there for the taking. It's Sarah Fantini. Halleth was to throw a PB. She might just do it. That's better. Maybe a slight improvement for her. Closer to 67, we hope. She smiles. Rightly so as well. So warming up into this competition, 4th round in this women's hammer throw. Sun shining on them down there. So some of the big players still to go in Hungersdottir. And sure, a lot of these women, it's interesting when you get to the throws, but certainly at the European level, they tend to just follow each other around the continent. You know, they're all competing at the same meets. I mean, 5 out of 8 of these women were all in Turku for the gold tour there in Finland, the Paavo Nurmi Games. So 66.91, I mentioned she's consistent in that mid-60 range. And it's another throw to back that claim up. Well, coming in, Jakobsen of Sparta, 69.54. She is capable of doing this field over. Your Nordic champion, 5th at European Championships a couple of years ago in Rome, 8th at the World Championships. She would have set the goal as a medal in Birmingham this year, I'm sure. Just shy of 70. And this is also an event that goes straight on the calendar. You know, the minute you sit down in October when these athletes have had their off-season, they start planning for the next. Amazing speed, but just not quite transferring it out into her throw at the moment. Katrine Jakobsen. Yeah, she would have set her season up. Nordic Championships, obviously, would have been a focus and a target. And then beyond that, would have been to come here, claim victory on the European Tour. Inserting your women's 200-meter A final up next. We have a mouth-watering field ahead of us as well. Right on the inside, Iris Caligiuri, 4x1 athlete on that Swiss team. There you are, Hrofska, 2 times gold medalist at the World University Games back in 2023, and coincidentally had another attempt at that to defend those titles last year. Wasn't able to do it. And do you know what she won? The 200 meters and the long jump. How about that for a mixing event? 6.65 long jumper, Hrofska. Nicola Hrofska goes on the outside, 22.98, her lifetime best. A little way off that at the moment this year. Inside of her, there's Vesely, European champion in the 4x1 back in 2022 in Munich. What a moment that was for the Germans on home soil. Did a 100-meter and 200-meter double last week as well. Well, Mabundu Kone, 22.53, her lifetime best, the athlete from the Ivory Coast. Semi-finalist in Paris at Olympic Games, 11-1 on Friday night in Paris. So comes into this in good form over the 100. And Nora Lindvall, well, a little bit of drama with her, transferring allegiance from Sweden to Finland. Should all go through in time for the Olympic Games in 2028, so that's why she won't appear on the rankings. Now, but still, 22.88, her lifetime best. Huge. Amaya Jorgensen then, 23.67, holding good company here. And father, a former European champion in handball, national sport in Denmark, don't forget. Talia Preppens, sprinter, and bobsleigh star as well, world youth champion back in 2017. Has struggled to replicate that form. And there's Caligiuri then of Switzerland. Again, another athlete looking to make that 4x1 quartet at those European Championships. And struggled to qualify, probably. European standard sits at 22.85. 18 have it so far. Hrofska, Vesely, Kone, Lindvall, Jorgensen, Preppens, and Caligiuri of Switzerland on the inside. Women's 200-meter A final. So where they go, look out for the fast start of the Ivorian Kone. It was a brilliant 100 she ran last Friday. She gets out 11.1 sort of speed. Lindvall is going to chase her down, the Swede. Turning Finn star soon. So Lindvall is going to take it, leads into the home straight. Can she hold on? Who's got the strength over this final 50? Nora Lindvall, ladies and gentlemen, is going to absolutely destroy this field. 22.87. Fine run from her. And the jury's out whether she's going to be able to compete at the European Championships. That's the news so far. Father is from Finland, and she is in the process of transferring her allegiance. But that's why, when you look on the road to Birmingham, she does not feature. But still, I mean, she's in a position, former medalist at youth level, junior level, under 23 level at the Europeans. Was out in the World Championships last year as well. Very, very established athlete. So 22.87, full confirmation. I was hesitant to call it as a PB. You've always got to wait for the official time. But 100th of a second, lifetime best there for Nora Lindvall. Fantastic running. Yeah, she does continue to just miss out on that European standard of 22.85. But she has a ranking spot. She won't worry too much. She's in a prime position. Well, look at Kone start. I mean, it was just fantastic. But Lindvall just had the strength, had the fluency. Kone more of a 100-meter star. Starting to tie up at this stage as she enters the straight. Head going, shoulders are going back, leaning back as well. Whereas Lindvall, strong, has the momentum. And that stride not faltering one bit. And also in that moment, when you sense yourself edging clear of the field, you start to ooze with confidence, don't you? Smooth as you like. Well, keen to see what happened a little bit further down that field. Here are the results then. Lindvall, 22.87, lifetime best, 23.20. Kone, Preppens and Vesely were your 3-4, the Germans. Caligiuri, fine run from her in 5th. Swede coming through in lane 2. Horvaska and Jorgensen, 23.72 and 24.04 respectively. The Danes are a little way off her lifetime best. So the steeplers are out over on the far side. And they're going to get a real warm welcome with hometown favourite Julian Vid. Trains right here, preparing for her assault on the European Championships. Back to the women's hammer, which is into its final stages now. In the circle there, Alberg. 66-61 at the moment. Has she improved on it? She's thrown 66, well, 10+ times this season. Must be frustrating when you're just locked in at that one distance. You have to take positives that you're consistent, but at the same time, you just long for that breakthrough to get back to that 70-meter mark, which she knows she can throw. Has thrown it once this year already. Alberg. Rebecca Halleth sitting in 4th place at the moment. Halleth 67.42, but knows that some big names here. Jakobsen in 3rd is there for the taking. Fantini in 2nd. Haugesdottir leads with 73.12 from the 2nd round. That was a round where they all seemed to throw their best. I mean, Haugesdottir has been consistent since 72.78 and 71.80. Gets a spins. Look at that release. A not bad release. Just doesn't quite put the same speed into those rotations as, you know, the likes of Fantini and others, or at least not at the moment. Yeah, that wire, by the way, sits at the end. It's about just over a metre long. That 4-kilo ball sits at the end of it. Unbelievable core and shoulder strength. It is prime athleticism, the hammer throw. And it is always such a shame that we don't see it on the Diamond League circuit. It's not going to be included in the World Ultimate Championships either, and it does make the career of hammer throwing awfully difficult for a lot of these women. They have to rely on national funding. That's it pretty much. You know, brands will tend to sponsor, but when you're not out there, you're not getting that exposure on the Diamond League. And even at the events like the World Ultimate, I mean, it's a bit of a kick in the teeth, isn't it? It's one of the most impressive events on the circuit. And that is why we have the luxury of welcoming such stars. You know, 5 of pretty much the best Europeans on offer here in Copenhagen. So the 5th round throw for Jakobsen. If she's going to edge her way up the leaderboard, now's the time to do it for the leading Dane, their national record holder. Ooh, well, it might be an improvement on what we've seen. It won't challenge for 2nd place. Fantini at 72.64. But an improvement nonetheless. Building nicely for the 6th round, isn't it? Goodness. We would love to see Jakobsen pull clear in the 6th. Pull out all the stops. Break her own national record. One could dream. .70.05, so just over the 70-meter mark. It's a lovely improvement for her. 50 centimeters or so. Championships. Perhaps just getting back into another heavy ahead of her own national championships. Well, here's the European defending champion, Sarah Fantini. Can she challenge for the lead? No, just below 70 there. Difficult to see that hammer up in the sky with the sun just setting. At the head of the track. That top end pretty much all in the shade now. So as we watch a replay of that throw, you can see a women lining up for the 3,000 meter steeplechase next up. Capacity of 1,500, this stadium here at Düsseldorf. And I want to say there's a few spare seats dotted around, but it's almost a full house, which is just terrific to see. Many others dotted around the track as well. So these lines that we are seeing here, just painted on a little while back. Track became World Athletics legal after being relayed last year, just a month or so ago. So there she is then, Julianne Witt. She'll get a warm welcome. 9:23, massive breakthrough for her this year. And brilliant story, ranked 11th in Europe at the moment with that. Debuted at the steeple at the Sparta Games a few years ago. Well, the Lemo is another athlete to watch. Flavie Renard as well, the French athlete, 13th at the World Championships in Tokyo. Marta Serrano as well, the Italian. Samuelson there on the inside. But Renard wears number 12. So off they go in this women's 3,000 meter steeplechase. Wave lights for you at home. We're looking for about 9:28, which coincidentally is that all-important European standard. And it's sensible. I'm really, really pleased to see that. Even though Julianne Witt has gone quicker, has run 9:23, I think she wants to consolidate. She wants to almost test herself over that last kilometer here tonight as well. What can she do? Can she run 9:28 and close hard? That's what you're gonna have to do if you're gonna make it out the heats at the European Championships, which she should feature at, you imagine. So there we are. So Trzepa of Poland just moving her way up into second place. You've got Serrano as well, the Spaniard, in third. So these women settling in rather nicely. They're looking for about 74, 75 laps. And all hurdling very, very well. And I tell you what, women's steepling is an event that has just developed so much in the last 5 or 6 years. And you've seen, you know, the amount of women now who are breaking 9 minutes and what it's taking. I think it's going to take anything around sub 9:20 to make a European final, to put it into context. And to make a world final, you need to be looking at almost sub 9:10 really on the day. World or Olympic final is absolutely stacked. So here's the first of 7 water jumps. Julianne Witt there wearing bib number 41 in the blue of Sparta. Serrano is there just in the fluorescent yellow, number 42. And on the outside of Renard, wearing bib number 43, French athlete. And I mean, they're a nation with so much talent over the steeplechase. What the Olympics did for France is just staggering. Since some of their athletes, I mean, of course, they have the defending European champion, Alice Finot, you want to look out for. Well, Renard is number 2 in France, behind Finot, a European champion and 4th Olympic Games. So 9:34, season's best for the French athlete, who has now just moved her way into second place. Serrano, Marta Serrano of Spain, right in behind the pacemaker, who leads the field, for argument's sake. Julianne Witt now making a bold move as they go through 800 meters, perhaps sensing this pace slowing or just feeling quite comfortable. They are still at those wave lights, so there's still 9:28 pacing. It does pay to be patient in the steeple. It really does. You just never quite know, even if you feel good, how those barriers are going to make you feel in those latter stages, those last few laps. So all of them landing well. You can see the strength it requires. None of them sinking at the hips. It's a telling sign. Once you start to drop the hips on landing at the water jump, you can see the fatigue that's really creeping in. So we'll keep an eye on that as they approach their first kilometer. So Witt is absolutely locked in those Sparta colors, sensing this is her moment, this is her day. What are we through that first kilometer? About 3:08, 3:09. Don't forget, they start further back from the 200-meter mark. It's about an extra 30, 40 meters. not that they run, but an extra 30, 40 meters they start back from the 200 line because they chop off every lap from there on out when they go into the water jump. Now, Vid just looks so relaxed for me, the athlete from Sparta, and she's starting to really get consistent in that 9:20 range. They ran the Stockholm Diamond League. It was definitely a baptism of fire. It's her first appearance ever in a Diamond League. Coped well. Finished 14th on that occasion, but it was up and down. They obviously start very, very fast as well. And that lifetime best in 9:23 coming in Turku. So we've got a great pack early on. So far it's Vid, Runard of France, and Serrano are your athletes in the mix here. And Lelemo, the Swede, ranked 22 in Europe, 4th at the Nordic Championships, ran 9:28.99 back in 2024. Needs to get back to some of that form. Nygaard of Norway wearing bib number 35 as well, having a good day. 9:51 her lifetime best. She's going to crush that if she keeps this going. And you know what? This is rare that you get a pacemaker so experienced, so accomplished. Difficult to find pacemakers in the steeplechase purely because they need to be technically sound as well. Nothing worse than having a pacer who can't hurdle. Often in this steeplechase, you are at the mercy of those in front of you. How you hurdle is often dictated by that person in front, the way you sight the barrier. If they stutter hard, you then have to stutter hard, and it's that surging which you just do not want to give into when it comes to the steeplechase, and that is what Julian Vid avoids so much. Look at the water jump, slightly longer strides going in, small stutter up and over, still landing very, very strong. Now starting to put the pressure on those girls behind her. Will be well aware that Runard and Serrano are 9:14 and 9:21 performers, so Vid on paper has no right to be pushing this one on, no right to be leading. And if they're to run fast here today, I think they are going to need the French star Runard to help out a little bit. Vid will welcome her to come round at least over these next couple laps to keep this pace honest. They are ahead of the lights, ladies and gentlemen. There you can see the rest of them are of some massive lifetime best if they can hang on to those lights. 9:28. And just the youngster, 20-year-old Andrea Nygaard now makes contact with these top three. So, French star Flavia Runard hasn't been at her best. 3rd in Nice in 9:34 just last week, 9 days ago now. So really building through this season. This one's setting up for a good one though, being paced well. Well, here's Jakobsen. Crowd getting behind her. This is live, ladies and gentlemen. Is it going to be over 70? Yes, it is. It's going to be tough to challenge, but great to see her dip over 70 once again. So Runard almost teasing Vid over that water jump. You can get a psychological boost on the athletes around you. If you're hurdling better than them, the confidence is going to grow. And at the moment, Runard, her water jump, her speed in the approach, and the way she's able to accelerate out of it is looking like she's in a commanding position and starting to control this race. Runard of France, Vid of Denmark, the hometown athlete, wearing those Sparta colours, and Serrano sits in 3rd. There you're 1, 2, 3. Nygaard not going away in 4th, having the race of her life. European Championship standard at 9:28. So far, the only person to have that this season is Vid in 2nd place at the moment. Well, everything's setting up for an extremely hard and fast last lap. The fairy tale there's for Julian Vid, if she can take it. The crowd will be behind her every time she comes round the home straight. They erupt. Next time around will be the bell lap. 600 to run in this women's 3,000 meter steeplechase. French runner Runard leads. Watch the water jump. She's dominated it so far. Vid will have to drift out to side of Venice. Slips off it. Commentator's curse. Oh, and Nygaard goes down. Such is the demands of this event. I mentioned you can tell so much when athletes sink at the hips on landing. That's the first sign of fatigue. The next is just the legs giving in completely. So Flavia Runard then was 13th in the World Championships in Tokyo. Huge achievement to make the final there. She's 5th ranked in Europe, 8:15 at the bell. Can they break 9:20? Renard's been there before. Serrano's been just outside 9:21, her lifetime best. Ran that time at the Tokyo World Championships. Vid would have loved to feature. Was struggling with injury last year. Sits in second. So Flavia Renard there putting on a show. She's going to start to pull away. Attacks this barrier on the backstretch. One more water jump to go. Look further behind him. Julian Vid and Serrano could work together going into this final water jump. Rally hard, and we could see a challenge on the home stretch. But Flavia Renard could just prove too strong. One more water jump. Gets a better connection on the barrier that time around. Vid and Serrano will try and run themselves to a lifetime best. Renard will be just outside hers, but a telling victory nonetheless. Good ranking points. And we'll see her at the European Championships. The Frenchwoman with a commanding victory, was patient early on, applied the pressure when she had to. 9:26 in the end. Serrano in 9:28, just outside that European standard. And Julian Vid did a lot of the early running, felt good early on, and is certainly still learning this event. And I think if Julian Vid and her coach watch this back, the one thing they'll say is probably be just patience. Wait a little longer. But it's good to see the bravery of Julian Vid. There's your winner, Flavia Renard. Well, Hermafino will fly the French flag over in Birmingham in 6 weeks' time. And they will need, you know, what is it going to take to medal? Well, 9 O's, perhaps even 9 minutes. The medal come to European Championships. There is one steeplechaser who is here tonight who didn't line up and will run the 1500, Leah Meyer of Germany, previous medalist over the 3,000 meter steeplechase at the European Championships. We'll see her a little later on. In fact, that'll be the last event of the night, that women's 1500. Well, what a special occasion. Not often do you get to run in front of a home crowd. Julian Vid has been able to do that tonight and put on a show. Meet record for Renard. That will attract a few more next year. 9:26. 63. Well, as we look back over this one, it's also worth acknowledging that there are not many steeplechase opportunities. Only 4 steeplechases in the Diamond League, and there's a few others on the World Tour. And of course, you've got so many athletes wanting to get a lane draw when it comes to the steeplechase. It's great that we have one here at the Copenhagen Athletics Games. I thought the pacer did a really, really nice job. And there was Julian Vid just after 2 laps. It was 800 meters in, wanting to get on the heels of the pacemaker. And I wonder, just often when you see an athlete who is really just continuing to learn the event like Vid is and having those breakthroughs, they're not as comfortable in a pack. It takes quite a while to learn how to hurdle with bodies around you. Because especially on the domestic circuit, Vid would have won time and time again, would have got used to a lot of front running. Oh, that was that fall of Nygaard, wasn't it? And then came the bell lap. And then came the masterclass of Flavia Renard of France. Still hurdling so well over that last barrier, wasn't she? Beautiful technician. Serrano in second. Julian Vid there in third. All smiles. Can you blame him? Right, well, we'll update you with that, the results there. Full confirmation, 9:26.63. Meet record, 29 season's best for Serrano. Big season's best, actually, down from 9:40, so trending in the right direction. There's Vid. Nygaard managed to rally, get back up and run 9:37, so despite the fall, still runs a 14-second lifetime best. Giuseppe. And there's some good PBs in there, just the 1 DNF in Marsic, pacemaker, Samuelson and Knutston, DNS. I gotta check in with that hammer as well. What happened there? Well, Hagensdottir held on for the win. 73-12 in the second round was good enough to win. 72-64, Sarah Fantini, the European champion, gets beat here today, 72.64, and Jakobsen's last throw, 71.13. This is what it took to win it in the second round. Hilgrimsdottir, casual. Little emotion there early on, and I think it was because it was so early on, actually. 73-12, full confirmation. Gillian Shippey, it's a long way to come from America to only throw 62.66. Long way off her best. She'll be frustrated with that, the American. Wow, what a beautiful evening here in the Österbro Stadium. This is European track and field at its best, isn't it? Knowledgeable crowd, engaged crowd. Excited, welcoming their stars. A lot of local athletes as well, local stars, I should say. Well, check in with that triple jumps. And it was another Danish winner today. Janne Nielsen, 13.63. So everyone, unfortunately, a little way off their best. Conditions were tough for the triple jumpers. It was just a swirling wind. Couldn't seem to find any rhythm down there on the top end. Hey, look, it's the luck of the draw. You've got to get used to competing in adverse conditions if you're going to qualify for the majors. It's about just beating the women next to you, nothing else. Men's javelin just warming up. That 800-gram implement that they launch out. What is it? Just over 2 meters, 2.5 meters long. One of the oldest disciplines in track and field. Obviously, many of us can relate to where it originated from. In the days of hunting, the days of Spartans. So that will get going in about 2 or 3 minutes' time. And we will have that women's 100-meter hurdle final up next. That's in 20 past 8. So we'll probably have time to introduce those javelin throws before we introduce women's 100-meter hurdles. There's the lineup. Well, we saw them earlier on, didn't we? It was first 3 to auto-qualify, 2 fastest losers. That isn't their qualifying times on screen. That is their lifetime best and season's best, as you can see. And look at this thing. 3 Norwegians, 3 Danes, a Hungarian and a German. And the pole right on the outside. So all 8 lanes occupied in this one. Good to see. Conditions are beautiful. They've almost been able to warm up a little bit earlier on. Interesting, so many of them just choosing to sit down, relax. Well, there's Anna Toth of Hungary. I mentioned she's had so much success as a junior athlete. At the world level, European level, and now fighting to transition into a senior star. Has that European standard, but sluggish in the heats. Clipped that first barrier, did Toth. And there was an upset. That lady here, Ida Bomb of Sparta. $12.91. 1/10 of a second off her lifetime best. Just a 3/10 of a second. 300th of a second, apologies, off of that European qualifying mark. But this is one of the deeper events at the European level. I mean, 29 women out of 36 currently have run 12:88 or faster. So there's just 7 spots up for grabs when it comes to world rankings. And you know what? With 4 or 5 weeks left of that qualification window, I wouldn't mind betting all 36 spots are going to be occupied by those who have a qualifying standard. It's going to take 1,177 points as it stands to qualify, which is one of the deepest events. So running the outside in the pole, Veselowska. Fastest loser to make it in. Annika Haldboden, sub-13 performer. Can she get amongst it? Put the pressure on to the athlete to her left. Leah Bock from Norway was very, very impressive in the heats. 13.08 on that occasion, 12.85. Another athlete who is building towards that European Championships. There's some psychological battles out there. It was Hornvik, who just outclassed her teammate, 12.79. Well, here we are. They are going to love this woman, aren't they? Especially if she can replicate her heat. Ida Bomb. Mum will be in the stands. Meet director for this one. Done a fine job. And the German Flo Toden. A lifetime best back in May. 12.97 in Dresden. Bronze medalist at the European Under-20s last year. And Anna Toth. Quite a poor lane draw on the inside, or in lane 2, shall I say, because of that heat. And Andresen goes on the inside, the Norwegian, qualifying as the fastest loser. So then Bock, Hornvik, Bomb in 6, 5, and 4. Is the win going to come from one of those? Or is it going to be Toth in 2? Star at a European junior level, world junior medalist as well. Anna Toth of Hungary, still just 23 years of age. So then all eyes on 4, Ida Bomb. Look at his first hurdle, just clips it a little bit. It's Hornvik there, just putting on the pressure. Bock can't respond as well in 6. It's Ida Bomb who still leads. Anna Toth is closing hard. Can Bomb hold on? Hornvik is going to take it. 12.76, ladies and gentlemen. I think we've got 3 under that European standard. All of them had it already, but it just shows you the class out there on the track tonight in Copenhagen. Oh, wow. Well, the heat was classy and it was smooth from Hornvik, and she's just come out here and she's replicated. She's moved the needle a bit, and we'll wait for these official times to come in, because it could be an equal lifetime best. And if, you know, often we see that official time come in a little quicker. Let's have a look. Well, there's Smiles. There's Smiles, 12.74 coming up on the screen in the stadium here. Lifetime best for her. That boosts her up the European rankings as well. Huge. And a Danish record in 12.79 for Ida Bomb. The crowd enjoy it. A new Danish record. What a moment, what a place to do it. 12.79. Takes a few tenths off her lifetime best. And what a fierce competitor, shaping up really, really well ahead of those European Championships. That's right where you want to be. We would have thought national championships to come will be fairly routine now. Getting used to heats and finals on the same day. It'll be semi-finals and finals for them in Birmingham. Ida Bomb. Well, there are a few rumors if the wind wasn't going to play ball, they were going to run in the opposite direction to make sure they had a tail when they had a 0.5. Beautiful conditions in the sun. And actually, just where the sun is sitting, the fact it is shining wholly on that home straight, there's just an element of warmth. If you go in the shade, it's cool, it's breezy here inside the stadium, but there in the sun, it is just glorious. So we really have seen some fine Danish performances here, and all of them actually have come in the Sparta colours, haven't they? Let's have a replay of this then. For a long time, 5-6 flights, it was Ida Bomb who was leading. Toth was closing hard in 2, but Hornvik just off those last 2 flights gets the lean, masters the lean, doesn't she? That's where she gets it, just over that last hurdle. Clips 7 there. Or 8, should I say, over 9, over 10, so smooth. Bomb just tying up in the upper body. We'll work on that, I'm sure. So that's one of the fastest 100-meter hurdles we've ever seen here at the Copenhagen Games. Congratulations to her. Full results, equal lifetime best, a little bit further down the field for Laia Flotow there in 5th as well. Anna Toth claiming 3rd, 12-1. European under-23 medalist last year. 5 sub 13. Bad at all. Veselowska, mind you, I'm so focused on the on those central lanes that did not even notice. My apologies to DNF there. Big storyline missed out on. Focusing on that Hornevik versus Bomb matchup, and Toth on the inside. That's where my attention was. Goodness, men's 110 hurdles to come. The javelin competition about to get underway. This one will run late into the night. Their crowd will be right behind it through sunset, I'm sure. Well, there are the implements. Nice bright colours for us. They'll be throwing the opposite direction to what we saw those women throw the hammer. So the opposite end of the track, based up on the top bend, these javelin throwers. Suntash of Latvia, a huge throwing nation. He's a video student. He's chasing LA 2028, this man. Got married in May, so congratulations to him. He's a leading Latvian. Well, then next on your list, Meisner, number 7. Wearing the Sparta colours. Sobal there, 73.53 is lifetime best. And we have a Jakob Nielsen, Danish number 2, 75.51 is lifetime best. Continental Athletic Club. Apologies, this is Sobal, 73.53. Getting ahead of myself. Yeah, he'll get a big warm welcome. Meisner. Next to welcome into the arena, also of Sparta. Well, Alexander Chaka is certainly one to watch. Future vet through 76 meters just yesterday, actually, in France. 3 meets in 10 days. Showing the busy schedule that he has. Last man, Suntash, to be welcomed. So a few more track events to come. We've got the men's 110-meter hurdle final. They didn't have heats. Final could sometimes be misleading, but so a slightly smaller field. And one of the reasons we did see heats in that women's 100 hurdles is because it's at the benefit really of Ida Bomb as well, of Sparta. Just get a couple runs out, especially when you've got those world ranking points on offer. If you're in form, clearly she was getting that Danish record here today. You get a couple solid runs, good points, win under your belt in the heats. You can really boost yourself up the rankings. It's going to help with seeding for someone like her come the European Championships. All right, then, men's javelin gets underway. Jakob Oberler of Germany. $77.95. He's one of the stronger throwers in this field, actually, the German. 83 meters. It's a European standard. Compare that to the hurdles I was mentioning, just 12 have it on the men's side, 12. Throwing further than 83. Saws that one out. Very close, just under, or just over 60 meters, I should say. About 65 meters probably for a Berler there of Germany. There's a few different grips you can have with the javelin. The V grip, the Finnish grip, which is largely European as well, or the American style grip. Each grip just effectively hold the javelin in a slightly different way. They do offer their own strengths and weaknesses. A lot of them, you might get slightly better aim. You might be able to control the javelin a little more. Some require an extra level of shoulder mobility. Some slightly easier to release. But yeah, that run-up, awfully technical. If you don't master the run-up, you cannot transfer that speed in the run-up into your throw. You know, those penultimate few crossover steps, very, very crucial. Look where they hold that javelin as well, right up against their chin. So here goes Peterson. Arthur Peterson of Sparta, 76.95, his season's best. He goes straight into the lead if he throws that. Okay, big release. They have got a tailwind. It's going to be over 70. 71 meters, perhaps. Not a bad start for him. Beautiful release, that's how you do it. Even just learning that dive is quite a technical skill. Graciously land. Well, Skove, 68.88. He's struggling to find form this year. Skove of Denmark. However, this is his day. Surely this is the moment you want to do it in front of the home crowd. Oh, he's releasing a little bit too early there. It's going to be over 60, though. That's going to be a nice season's best for him. 5, but you can just tell the difference in release. It's doesn't quite bring the same speed in that run-up. Giving himself plenty of room as well, making sure not to run through. Does get a good plant. He's got a good bit of power behind it. So Peterson leads, Berler in second, and Skove there has put himself into third. 64.64 for a season's best. Nilsson to go next. 26-year-old Dane. Udinese club. Oh, yes, snatches it away, doesn't he? Such a quick release, but yeah, perhaps too quick, 65-ish. 10 meters shy of his best. You see there, he's just got that index finger just back. And he gets the landing right. I say landing like it is part of the jump, to be fair. Very much is. You don't want to cross that line. It would be a no throw. Shabale. Another dangerous 24. This is a very, very experienced event. You get athletes go late into their 30s in the javelin. So to be 24 years of old, 24 years of age, apologies, is seen as rather a youthful athlete. So we've got the men's 110 hurdles up next, then the men's 100-meter final, and we will conclude the action here this evening with the women's 1500 meters. So here we are. There's the tall pole on the outside. Quite simply stunning facial hair. 13.63 for Soroki, his lifetime best. He's definitely going to have to be in and around. He did win in Malta, actually. In 13 last week. Andreas Kristoffersson, 24 years of age, lifetime best. Last week was wind aided, nonetheless. Ilari Maininen. The Finn, 13.69, Maininen. It's finished number 2. And here's the finish number 1. Kusanemi. European finalist back in 2024, Kusanemi. And national champion. Antonio Okana, the South African. Well, he's an Olympian back in 2016, believe it or not. 36 years of age now. African champion in 2018 as well. Anthony Johnson, 14.87, so this is going to be a fast field for him to hang on to. Just needs to stay relaxed. Vuiland's there, right on the out inside. Well, he's a decathlete by trade, actually, is Vuiland, so good to see him, just 22 years of age. He's there, Danish national record holder in the heptathlon, which is obviously the indoor equivalent of the men's decathlon. So, Antonio Okana, the 2016 Olympian, 13.11, his lifetime best. Now, if he was running down in today's money, he would be in Diamond League after Diamond League. 13.44 season's best. Not bad either. Your men's 110-meter hurdles. So denies on lane 4, Okana gets out. Oh, he's going to say sluggish and hits the first 2 flights. Oh, it's going to be tough to come back from here. Anthony Johnson, a youngster from Norway, also clipping barriers the whole way down. This is an extremely messy race. Johnson gets it, 13.66. I cannot believe it. The 19-year-old from Norway has just run a massive lifetime best. And you know what? How many hurdles did they hit? I mean, they sort of were egging each other on. Okana would clatter one, Johnson would respond. Kusiniemi as well on the outside of Okana. The Finn just couldn't get a clean run. I mean, whoever got a clean run then would have won that comfortably. But to run 13.66 in the way they did, they'll take huge confidence from that. If you can take confidence from a messy race like that. Wow, he's a star, isn't he? Anthony Johnson of Norway coming over, conquering here. 13.65 officially now. And he's a man who can do it all. He started out his career high jump, long jump, now starting to specialize in the hurdles. And there is a hard transition period. He's been running a lot because he is just 19 over the hurdles that are slightly lower. The junior hurdles, 99 centimeters. These are 106 centimeters tall, those men's hurdles. I mean, they are absolute monsters. Go up way above most people's midriff. Okana, I'm surprised he stayed on his feet, to be honest. He really put up. Kisunemi's race was done as well, the way Okana was smashing those barriers. And Johnson as well, but just gets the last couple for Johnson, won him that race. Goodness gracious. Well, he was their indoor champion over in Norway, over 60. He's improving nicely as Anthony Johnson. Look out for him, he's a name for the future. 13.40 is that also cue to the European Championships. And you know what, he's got a chance. Considering how many hurdles he hit today, he's got a big chance of pushing that lifetime best on. A couple tenths of a second now. Okana in second, full confirmation of that. Well, our focus will stay at the top of the track with the men's javelin taking place underway into the second round. Well, sad to say, we haven't got long left. 30 minutes or so for the conclusion of another fantastic World Tour. Peterson in. Oh, it's high, isn't it? It's just going to drop down. It's going to stall in the air. It's going to soar over 70. 71.47 so far. It's going to be a slight improvement for him, closer to 73 for Peterson. 76.95, his season's best out in Arizona. Was, well, one of the rare Danes actually to spend a bit of time in America, competed in the NCAA, did Peterson, and often with the coaching so good here in Europe and Scandinavia. You don't get many leave their setup to go and learn their craft in America, but Peterson took the chance. It paid off, studying out in Nebraska. 72.51 there. And him you can see in the second round. Of Germany sits in fourth, 65.82, and that is Sparta man. Might enjoy that, will he? Skove. Way shy of 60. Has thrown a season's best already, though. Nielsen to throw next. And look, for many of you who might be joining us or perhaps missed the early part of this stunning World Tour here in Copenhagen, welcome. It is at the Østerbro Stadium, which is home of Sparta Athletic Club and actually Copenhagen Athletic Club. They shared a stadium, Sparta, as we watch Nielsen soar that one into the sky. Over 60, closer to 70. No, not bad at all. After a no mark in the first round. And yeah, Sparta, one of the leading clubs in Europe, really, with over 2,000 members. And they are host to some of the best road racing events in the world. The half marathon, well over 25,000 people. The marathon, the same. The King's Run, it's over 100,000 people. It's staggering. And then they will play host to the World Road Running Championships in the end of September, right here. In fact, the start and finish will be a stone's throw away, the other side of the Philip Parkin, which is just behind this stadium. And they really do have a glorious setup here, Sparta. You know, they've got an awesome stadium like this, which is newly renovated, new track for them. As we see Sobale. Just shy of 60 for him then, 62.74 in the first round. No improvement for him. Yeah, he's happy to accept that as a no mark and foul out. And yeah, the throwers, I mean, they won't always throw in the stadium on a weeknight when they're training. They've got some beautiful fields. Like I said, about 100 meters away from where we are behind the stadium, and they stretch out for several acres. Yeah, and a lot of the throwing will take place there. Lovely trails as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, the men's 100-meter final up next. Well, we've seen it all so far. We've seen the 100 hurdles, the 110 hurdles, the 200, the 400. We've had this men's mile, the steeplechase, and now just a couple more races to go. It is the turn of the absolute speedsters. Well, they, like the women's 100-meter hurdles, had heats earlier on in the day, and this man looked very, very impressive. He was 3/10 of a second ahead of everyone else. Emil Erasmus, he's got to be the favorite. He is 34 years of age now, lines up in lane 3. He's South African, 10.05 last week out in France. Got second on that occasion. And the reason I highlight that performance is his lifetime best from 2018, which is 8 years ago, is only 10.01, and it was set at altitude as well. So he is really shaping up into some fine form as Erasmus. They were all a little sluggish in the heats, all a little way off their best. But Benjamin Gum, Lifetime best of 10:49, did qualify as a fastest loser. So small cue for him in the heats in 10:57. That was his story. And next to him, then the American who actually disappointed, perhaps a bit sluggish after a transatlantic flight to get here, Kobe Hilton. 10:11 is lifetime best, but just 10:51 in the heats. Season's best of 10:32 as well. And he has represented the USA at the World Indoor Championships last year, so he's a quick starter as Hilton. Didn't have it, like I said, in the heat. There's Valentin Jensen. Randanzo. Filippo Randanzo, the Italian, terrific long jumper. 8:12 his long jump best. Did you know what? When he set that PB of 10:23, it was the same year that he went and soared out to 8:12 in the long jump. He jumps his best when he's at his fastest. This man impressed, didn't he? Wow, runs for the Copenhagen Athletic Club, trains right here. Despite being South African, Matthew Matoli, 10:39. Won his heat convincingly in 10:42. Erasmus won heat 1 though. Look at that for a season's best and a lifetime best. Clearly the favorite. If he gets a good start, if he gets out front, he's going to be able to relax and run his race. Could be under pressure from his countryman. To his right though. Zirignon of Sweden. Again, did impress for me in the heats. Held strong that last 10. So often it is about slowing down the least. And there's Sofus Jensen on the inside of Denmark, 20 years of age. Small cue for him to get here. That was his storyline. Oh, the crowd are behind these men. You've got cries and shrieks as they settle into their blocks. It's Matthew Matoli that will really lift the roof here. 10:54 is lifetime best. He wears the white strip, dead center. Your men's 100-meter final. So watch out for Erasmus, stumbles in his box. Does the South African in blue. Matoli getting out hard as well. Erasmus just starting to pull clear of the rest of the field. And Andazzo, the Italian, closing hard. Erasmus will take it. 10:25. Well, Matthew Matoli might well have been rewarded with a lifetime best because he did, I think, by my watch, claim second there. All eyes was on this man. Didn't have the best to start, did he? Just looked at his first stride at the blocks. He stumbled. Matoli got one up on him. But he's got the faster leg speed. He's got more experience than all of these men. 34 years in the game. Bidding for a spot at the Commonwealth Games in a little over a month. 10:24 then. Good enough to win. He'll take home some prize money, everyone here. €1,000 for the winner in all of these events. It's a €2,500 prize pot for each event, so the winner takes 1,000 and it sort of chips its way down. So a few, we hope, not leaving, just rather getting a better spot for that women's 1,500-meter final to come up next. Right, there's your winner then, Emil Erasmus. The accomplished South African. Oh, waiting for those results to come up on screen. Matoli does get a lifetime best 10:44, and Andalzo as well, 10:44. Those of them dead heat on the line. Here's a replay then. Just see Erasmus stumble out those blocks. This is where after 30, 40 meters starts to pull clear. No one can live with him. Oh, Andalzo does finish fast. Kobe Hilton, the American, will be disappointed to be in fourth, but it looked like a better performance. In fact, it was slightly better performance than his heat. Jensen joint fourth. So how often do you see that? We had two men joint second and two men joint fourth. 10:44 and 10:52. I mean, it is the 100 meters. And so that means they are tied to 1,000th of a second. (10:44.0) for both Matthew Matoli and Randazzo of Italy, and then 10:52.0 for both Kobe Hilton and Sofus Jensen of Denmark. So Jensen, the leading Dane in that one. Zirignon and Gum, the two fastest losers, 10.57 and 10.66. Actually, nice improvement on their heats as well. One more track event to come, ladies and gentlemen. You are watching the Copenhagen Athletics Games. It has been an absolute blinder. We've been on air for the last couple of hours. And that beautiful stadium in the background is the home of FC Copenhagen. And the other side of that is where the half marathon and the marathon start and finish. Confirmation that it was the two South Africans who ran clear of the rest. You could see, look, yeah, that's what I'm saying, tied to 1,000 to the second. You rarely see that. Zirignon. So these men all bidding to qualify for either Commonwealth Games or the European Championships. Now, this is how it stands so far in that men's javelin after just a few rounds. Suntaj leads 75-68. 7 centimeters in it, back to Arthur Peterson. So the Latvian from the Dane, here's Nilsson. Look at that quick release. Gets it up high. And there is the worry when you do just release a little bit too early on that angle. It just tends to hold itself up in the air before it then comes down again. So yeah, a few pumps of the track. That'll cure any frustration that he has. Difficult event. You know, once you let that sort of tension creep in, it's very difficult to reset. But you've only got 6 attempts. So technical. You just think about the, like I say, with the field events, it's just a matter of hours, isn't it? Well, Sabuli with the release. There we are, just over 60 for him. It's another one to back up. Skobe 64. Sits in 6 for Sabuli, not going to close in on that. Going to close in on his countryman. We've got 3 Danes in 6th, 7th and 8th at the moment. And this man is one of them. Sits in 7th. Noah Meissner, 64-13 so far. So about 8 minutes until that women's 1,500 meters. Probably getting almost a whole round done in this men's javelin in that time. Crowd are responding. Here he goes, Meissner of Denmark, of Sparta, to challenge, to move his way up the pecking order, to beat some of his teammates. And that won't be enough. That won't improve on his 64-13. Peterson looking awfully relaxed down there. Chacha, the Czech star, sits in 3rd. He's a Tokyo Olympian, is Chacha. So you expect to see more of him. Well, here he is, Alexander Chacha, training to become a vet. He was 9th at the European Under-23 Championships, 5th at the World University Games last year. Two performances which will really help towards improving his ranking. Lifetime best of 83.42. Now, if anyone can get near their lifetime best today, this competition is there for the taking. If anyone throws over 80 meters, I mean, it's a slow start so far in this men's javelin. Conditions not really playing ball. Here we go then. Alexander Chacha. Leaving a little bit of room on the runway. Saws it out. Well, 74 or so. Be an improvement for him. The lead sits with Suntaj of Latvia at 75.68. It's fascinating watching these guys train. I mean, it's an event which is so reliant on that power transfer, those fast lifts, those Olympic lifts, lots of plyos, lots of weighted jumps. And also that core and rotational power needed to actually use that force. Well, here's your leader in at 75.68, spoiling the party, the Latvian, 26 years of age. Asked for a clap. Crowd tentatively warming to him, knowing that he leads, knowing that a Dane sits in second. How much support, how much love do they want to show? Skips his way down like a pony as he trots along. Lovely release. Saws that one out. Might improve on his 75.68. Every chance it might not. Looks just shy, actually, of his earlier attempt. His first round attempt. Failure in the second. Gets another on the board in the third. So halfway through this men's javelin. So next track event is the women's 1,500 meters. It will be the final track event here on the World Tour circuit in Copenhagen. We couldn't have asked for better conditions, couldn't have asked for a better crowd. To be honest with you, I couldn't have asked for a better meeting. 73.90. Suntash will be hoping it stays that way. Not convinced. Peterson will definitely have something to say about it, I'm sure. How it stands after halfway in men's javelin. So can these Danes improve? Just the one season's best from Skobor there in 6th. Chacha as well. Definitely a man who can improve on his mark. Well, there they are to the bottom right of pitched in your women's 1,500. There is absolutely not a breath of wind at the moment. The conditions are perfect to go fast. It's probably a little cool in the shade, if anything. We're lucky enough. You can see the sun shining gloriously right there on the stands. As you know, we have, it looks like a few have exited here, which is a shame. It is a Monday night, but we've had some fantastic crowds. There was a point where all 1,500 seats in this stand were taken up, and just €5 to come and watch athletics here in Copenhagen. I mean, that's how it should be, shouldn't it? And there was a queue at 5:30, 6 o'clock this evening. There was a queue all the way down the street to get in here. So there's your lineup for this women's 1,500. Leah Meyer, for me, of Germany, is certainly one to watch. We saw the steeplechase earlier. Terrific steepler. Medalist at the European Championships a few years ago. 9:13 her best over the steeple. But looking here to just sharpen up a bit. You often get it, don't you? The athletes over the 5,000. We saw Kimeli and others in that mile. There's Anne-Marie Nissen wearing bib number 23. Certainly spot her, all eyes on her. National record holder over 800 meters, just 2 minutes. No Dane has ever broken 2. Wouldn't she love to be the first? Two youngsters right on the inside from South Africa, Steinberg and Verster. There's Anne-Marie Nissen wearing bib number 23. Pan all the way over to the outside. Well, there's McKenna Keegan, the two Americans, McKenna Keegan. Taryn Rawlings actually not lining up here. Leah Meyer wears bib number 27, the German. And Nelly Vessel, also a no-show. The other German who was 14th at the World Championships in Tokyo in 1,500 meters, so that's a shame. Ran that 4:03 lifetime best. Yeah. So I think we're looking about 4:05, pacemaker. And it's around 4:05. Emma Meyer, wearing bib number 28. You can see the Irish athlete, 23 years of age. 4:08, her lifetime best. There she is, the Irish star. Season's best in Oslo when she ran that 4:09. Third at last year's European Under-23 champion. Scandinavia's been kind to her. That one was set in Bergen up in Norway. Well, there's Leah Meyer, the German. I mentioned terrific steeplechaser. I'm sure we will see her back over 7.5 laps, but for now, she's got to sharpen up over 3 3/4, half the distance without barriers. What a delight. We pan through the field as well. Podolfsky of Sweden, Hovland, and there she is in Anne-Marie Nissen. All eyes on her, stepping up in distance. 4th at the Copenhagen Open just last week on this track. 4:10's her lifetime best. An athlete of 2 flat, you'd expect her to be faster. Can she rewrite that PB here today? And these are 2 youngsters over from South Africa. Those 2 just 19 and 20 years of age, Steinberg and Verster. Stestrup and Mork, the 2 Spartans next to them. So there was a world where we were expecting to see Torgersen here, another late withdrawal. So we've lost Rawlings, we've lost Vessel, we've lost Torgersen. So away we go, ladies and gentlemen. I think McKenna Keegan is certainly going to be one to watch for me. I mean, she ran 1:58 just a couple weeks ago at the LA Grand Prix over 800. That's the fastest by a long shot over 1,500, over 800 meters. And can she convert that to the 1,500? So what can McKenna Keegan do? They all settle in behind the pacemaker, who's going to whiz them round in about 60, well, looking for about 65 second pace. Leah Meyer just drifting herself up as well. Now to enter the home straight where the crowd will get behind her. Meyer will not fear the 1,500. You know, when you're used to running 7.5 laps, taking 27 barriers and 7 water jumps in your stride, you really just aren't phased. When it comes to a 1,500, you want to press, you want to get after it from the start. And the youngster from Sweden, Saga Podolfsky, is the athlete in second place in behind the pacemaker at the moment as well. Good youngster. Great pedigree over 3 3/4 laps at a junior level, at the European level. 15th in the Stockholm Diamond League, but letting a gap open up now. Perhaps hasn't been in this position, not at this stage. Not with the quality of these women behind her. So just a little bit hesitant, these women, to go with the pace, which is a shame because they're queuing up. It's not like they can't go with the pace. They're choosing not to go with the pace. And as I say that, the strong steepler Leah Meyer just slots into second place. Will look to close, bridge that gap. And McKenna Keegan seems completely unfazed, uninterested in a fast time. She'll want to win here. She wears number 29 in the all-black strip, coming up on the outside. The 2 youngsters from Sparta a little further back. Anne-Marie Nissen being perhaps a little cautious, rightly so, for the 800-meter star, the national record holder over 2 laps of Sparta. But she'll certainly want to close hard here today. Coached by Trevor Painter and Jenny Meadows. Trains alongside Keely Hodgkinson and Georgia Hunter-Bell. But now's the time to move up. If you're going to move up in a 1,500, it's going to be on that 3rd lap. If you try and do it at the sound of the bell, everyone else is trying to move at that moment. You've got to work double as hard to get round. So no change. Pacemaker going to get them to 900 meters, is she? Possibly even 1,000. As they drop back to those red lights. So this is a rather modest pace for these women. I'm not sure we're going to see any lifetime bests. They will close hard. Let's see what they are at 1,000. That will give us a good indication what they're on for. If they're anywhere around 2:45, a sub 4:10 is on the cards. So Meyer leads from Keegan in second place. There's a few youngsters in behind as well. Krolik of Poland looks very, very relaxed. You've got Hovland just coming up on the outside wearing bib number 24. We've also got Carmen Serngill of Sweden. We haven't even mentioned her yet, but former football star for the Swedish national team, junior national team, 2-time silver medalist at the European Championships last year. Serngill sitting in what is about 5th place. Anne-Marie Nissen just starting to come back. But Leah Meyer takes this one on. They're at the sound of the bell. They're queuing up. There's still no one making a move. Still no one confident, brave enough to really pull this race apart. Meyer's going to try and defend that leading spot. Hovland is up on her shoulder. Can Maya just force her wide on the bench? She's going to try to. Hovland leans in. Oh, and that's naughty of Hovland, actually. There wasn't room to do that. Now they're all shoving. Nissen gets caught by the youngster, the Swede, wearing bib number 22, a little further back, swimming and lactic. And it's the American now. Fastest on paper, over 800. 158 a few months ago. Who is going to storm clear, I think. She's going to wrap this one up. McKenna Keegan, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be our final winner, track winner at least of the night. Fast close from her, moved at the right time, came here to win, and by goodness, she's done that. 4:09:39. Well, I think there's a lot of tired bodies out there, but I think we should have seen some braver athletes. No one really wanted to take it on. I think Maya will protest. I think she'll be very frustrated. Hoyland was drifting in on her, leaning in on her around that top bend. And it caused all sorts of problems. And the only athlete perhaps who's used to the physical racing the most is, of course, McKenna Keegan of the USA. So here we are. They look longingly up to the scoreboard. Keegan won't care. She knows what she crossed the line in. Runaway Victor. So we'll get a replay of it. It was just messy with 200 to go. Was it just a lot of athletes panicking? No one really pressing enough. That was the problem. No one was able to, no one carried that change of pace in order to just break away, free themselves from the others. And so you ended up having that squabble at 200 to go. So this is how it panned out early on. You know what happened, Maya? Didn't get out particularly hard, then drifts her way up in behind the pacemaker. Happy to sit there. Klovci of Sweden. Then relinquished the leads, as I say, Maya then slots in behind. And McKenna Keegan was just never too far away. Look at this on the shoulder. Sönjo of Sweden, I mean, phenomenal distance star for them. They really have a bright talent in her. But here we are. This was the move for me. This is Hovland. Just there was no room there. She was leaning in. That's naughty. I'm not sure if it will warrant a DQ, but for me, that caused all sorts of problems. And then look, after leaning in, then slows up anyway, and they all have to go back round her. So Maya will be so frustrated with that. And Ima Maya of Ireland was the athlete closing hard, just hanging on to second place. Or should I say third? So there you have it, closing stage of the women's 1500 meters. And that is the last of our track action here in the simply stunning Ulsterbroa Stadium. And a lot of spectators exit, drift themselves into the wonderful Danish capital of Copenhagen. 4:09:38. Just outside her lifetime best of 4:08, but lots more to give, I think, for McKenna Keegan. You know, you look, if you run 158 over 800, the Villanova grad, oh boy, get a bit of strength in you, you really can get much closer to 4 flat. Leah Mayer there in second, and Ima Maya in third, 4:10:34. So despite some exiting this arena, we still have the men's javelin is ongoing. We are into round 5, 2 more rounds. Just the die-hard track and field fans staying behind to soak up this one. These men will certainly appreciate it. Noah Meisner. Look, he's sitting in 8th place at the moment. Yeah, 64-28. He's been consistent. Foul on round 1 in round 2, 64-13, 63-81, 64-28. That's his series so far. Needs about a 60-centimeter improvement. That will do it. That will see him surely bump him up a spot there. His teammate, Skove, 64-64, just above him in 7th spot. So to stay off the bottom for these men, there's a bit of a battle playing out. Sebastian Skrove. Both of them 23 years of age, share the same birth year. Waits for the all clear. Glorious sunset, we're just seeing the last of it. In fact, the whole track now, don't think there is quite any sun left on the track. That's how it stands after 4 rounds. So actually, Kasani Suntaz, the Latvian, improves on his 75 mark, 77. Here we are then. Skrove. Okay, no improvement for him. He's going to need to put out all the stops in the 6th. Go back, reset, check in with coach. He'll be here. It's a training night. Well, this is how athletics should be enjoyed, isn't it? Beautiful setting, incredible crowd, great stadium, and then the cherry on top, and the elite fields to go with it. World Athletics Continental Tour is a bronze label meeting. And you know what? I can see it years to come. It will have a silver label before you know it, and then potentially even a gold. You can see them packing this stand out. Well, he's over the German. The one German in this field. I mean, unfortunately, he comes from a nation who are rich in javelin throwers, doesn't he? And it's going to be a mid-65 again. I mean, he's sat there all competition, really. A series of 65, 64, 2063. He'll no mark that, actually. He's decided he doesn't even want them to bother measuring it. He knows it's not an improvement. Why waste their time? Nilsson sitting in 5th place, the Dane. 67.21 so far. He's capable of much, much more. Just not happening for the Danish #2 at the moment, is it? Goodness me. That's a long, long way off of where he'd want to be. He's got one more round. I mentioned just a lot of frustration. Not clicking for one reason or another, and just can't seem to shift that tension. Well, we have had a little bit of change, and unfortunately, it is at the result of Peterson, the leading Dane, slipping down into 3rd place, because Alexander Chichar of the Czech Republic finds himself in 2nd place, 76.86. Now there is just, what, 25 centimeters difference? What could Chacha do? This is his 3rd meet in just 10 days. He's been a busy boy. 76 meters yesterday over in France. 5th at the World University Games last year. Left-handed thrower, don't often see those. No. That one just going to drop way below the 70-meter mark, so that'll be a no mark as well. He'll cross over the line, won't mind that. So all to play for going into this 6th round. We've just got one man to go. Suntash setting himself. Peterson as well. So Peterson and Suntash left to throw. A few athletes down there doing a little post-race workout on the track. Don't often see that. So he's got to respond, hasn't he? Arthur Peterson. Dane studied out in America. 79.90 his lifetime best. Look, the lead stands at 77.11. His season's best 76.95, so he's going to have to go beyond his best recorded mark of 2026. That was out in Arizona. 7 times your Danish national champion. Gives it everything he's got in the 5th round. Oh my goodness, that will do it. That could well challenge might bump him up to second place. He'll wait with anticipation, with suspense. 76.86 in second in from Cha-Cha. Can Peterson get himself back in the mix? Sits in third, way beyond 70. Doesn't look like a 77-meter throw, does it? Oh, we wait. It's all we can do. We're at the mercy of the officials down there. Wave lights being cleared away. That invention, which is now just about everywhere. You don't see a track and field meeting without it. Now, was that 76.05? It's 76.05, so a good throw from Peterson there in the fifth. Look, he's trending the right way, isn't he? Steadily building. Slight blip there in the fourth, but other than that, every throw better than the last. All right, Suntas. Yannick Suntas of Latvia, 77.11 in the fourth. Look, if he improves on that, I think the competition is going to be his. Let's see. Where's he going to land? Ooh, more like 74 and change. Physio student. He's chasing LA 2028. That's where he wants to be, don't we all? And some of us, unfortunately, are just going to have to buy tickets. This man might actually qualify. He was third out in the World Cup, 77.35 a few weeks back, European Junior silver medalist. He's got an incredible CV, but still, unfortunately, just shy of that qualifying mark, 83 meters for the European Championship. So a lot of the men in the javelin relying on those world ranking points. That's why it's so important for the likes of Peterson to come here and really get amongst the podium. And if not, can he get into second and third? Because he's going to have to rely on those points if he's going to be in Birmingham in the summer. So, Suntas, this is how it stands. 1 round to go in the men's javelin. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure. I've been your commentator, Matt Seddon, all evening long, and I'm looking forward to taking you through the 6th and final round, the last bit of action in Euston Stadium here. Oh, and it is a perfect evening. You don't get better. This is European track and field nights at their absolute best. Okay, Noah Meisner currently sits in 8th place at the moment. Rallies those in the stands. They'll know him well. This is his track. Can he challenge his clubmates? Because that's who he's up against. Further down a pecking order, just dropped shy of... Oh, is it just over 60? I have to get my eyes tested. Just over 60, I think, for Meisner. But no improvement for him, so looks a little deflated after that, after a fairly modest series of throws for him. It was a late addition to this field, actually. Earlier on in the week, wasn't, I say at the back end of last week, wasn't set to compete here. Then just a last-minute call-up, a few dropouts. And so he can be forgiven, I guess, for not quite being at his best. Maybe had a plan for it in the long-term plan. It's often how these European tours work. You get athletes getting last-minute calls, last-minute dropouts. Skuhavi just below 60. Unfortunate. Again, no improvement for him. So these men just starting to look a little tired in the 6th. And can you blame them? Towards the bottom end of this field. But I tell you what, up at the top, Peterson, Cha-Cha, and Suntas, they need to be at their best. They can't afford to be sluggish because they have a competition on their hands. There's world ranking points on the line. There's prize money on the line. And a lot of these men, that's what they'll rely on during the summer in order to fund training camps, coaching, and even travel to and from competitions as well. It's a gamble every year for a lot of these men who are on the cusp, really, of that top end. So here's Oberle of Germany's mark at 65.82 is his best so far. Yeah, again, that fatigue just setting in. Fatigue, tension, one or the other. So no improvement for Oberle. That'll be another no mark for him. Now we start to get this end. Nielsen has struggled. For one reason or another, the number 2 Danish man. I mean, he'd look at Peterson and be like, you know, that Subal as well is just ahead of him. You know, these guys are guys that he needs to get used to beating if he's to challenge for that national title. Does Nielsen. Manfred Onenti, Athletic Club. He's got a very quick release. Just over, yeah, he'll probably won't even ask, won't even request for that one to be measured. That's been the story of his night, unfortunately. So here we go. 4 to throw in this men's javelin, and that is it. We are going to know the result of this thing in the next 5 minutes. Cha-Cha sits in second place, 76.86. He is just 25 centimeters off the lead. That's all he needs. Quite the arse, though, when it comes in the 6th round as well. He's 23 years of age. He's 3 years younger than the man who leads, Santaz of Latvia. Still in veterinary school. Still in university. Chachardin skips his way into this run-up. What will it be? Saws his way out. Oh, it's going to be over 70, but unfortunately it's not going to challenge. It's been a very, very consistent display from him. But that won't be enough, and he knows it. Otherwise, you'd see him off for a lap of honor, because I think anyone to improve on 77 is going to take this title here tonight at the Copenhagen Athletics Games. So coming in at 74.52, 74.32. Apologies for Chacha there of the Czech Republic. So, well, great to welcome him, right? This man here, Peterson. 2 more throws. Peterson, this is it. He's going to win this. I mean, everyone up on that top end are rallying him. You can hear them. And have his coaching staff up there, friends and family at his home track. This is where he's grown up. This is where he's honed his craft. And these are the moments, really, you live for in your career. Fighting for a World Tour victory. Fighting for European qualification. There's a lot on the line for the Spartan. In one of the purest events in track and field. Here goes Peterson. Gave himself a bit of room to release there, and it won't be enough, unfortunately. So there you have it. Your winner is going to be Santage. It's up to him whether he takes his 6th and final throw. And often you sometimes see athletes, they know they've seen the best of themselves, and they might just save themselves for another day. So Peterson still over 70, still a good throw from him. In fact, doesn't even want that to be measured, so he leaves that as a no mark. But what an evening of athletics we've had, and here we are, the man who's going to have the final say of the night. Spoiled the party, really. Krišjānis Suntas of Latvia. Got married in May. And now he's going to claim his first World Tour victory. the Latvian, 26 years of age. What can he do in the 6th and final round? Just about manages to keep it legal, and it could well be his best throw of the night. We'll wait for the official score to come in, but he had more to give, and that's rare, especially when you've got nothing to throw for. Competition was his, and he's still giving it some. Well, we're waiting. That could well be 78 meters. He's just shy of 80. Fantastic throw. Lifetime miss is 79.23. Not a million miles off it tonight. Oh, wow. And how often do you see that? 77.11. So a duplicate of his 4th round. Now, that is rare. So in the 6th and final round, Shantaz replicates the 4th. And he's the victor on this occasion. That's your final winner of the night, ladies and gentlemen. That's the final bit of action that we're going to see. We'll check in the results, though. Yeah, you show us your muscles, man. That's a deserving victory for him. Well worth the trip. And I tell you what, yeah, the Latvians are so awfully skilled, aren't they? Well, there you have it, full conclusion, and it was so close. I mean, Peterson saved the best till last as well. Still the 5th, sorry. Chacha in 2nd, 76.86, and then Kasyanis Shantaz in 1st place, 77.11. Well, let's take a look back at the action. There was a massive storyline there. There was the national record. Not from Hornvik, who was the winner from Norway, but Ida Bomb. Danish star, 12.79. Take a bow. And a stadium that's been open for over 100 years delivered its 9th World Tour. Flavio Renard in the steeple. Anthony Jonsson in the hurdles. The youngster, a new star from Norway as well. Just because they don't have enough up-and-coming talent. They are a nation on the rise. And this was the men's 100, the conclusion of that, Emil Erasmus. And ladies and gentlemen, I've been your commentator, Matt Seddon, and it has been a fantastic evening to host and deliver what has been a brilliant World Tour on the European circuit. And now all eyes, if you're Danish, will lead to the national championship. And if you're European, it will lead to Birmingham in 6 weeks' time. Thank you all, and we'll see you in 2025.